See, here we go. It took 12 minutes to get to this point. Go ahead.
All right. I wasn't even here for this.
Go for it. What do you want to say, Ryan?
All right.
Start.
Okay.
So the podcast actually begins now. Editor's note. So start it now.
Do you want to intro in as if none of that happened?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, really?
Welcome to the morning show. I'm Scotty. Here with me is Ryan, and to my right is Thomas, and we're gathered around a table as if we're fighting over a piece of meat if we're homeless. And we're going to talk about some stuff that Ryan didn't talk about in his last podcast. So, Ryan, please, what do you want to talk about?
All right, so first thing first, aliens.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, I was not in the audience for this part, and I have not watched that part of the podcast.
We didn't talk about
we
it
didn't
at
talk
all.
about aliens.
Oh, you didn't talk about
This is what we didn't talk about
This
because
is
we cut it
totally
short.
Yeah, we had to cut it.
Okay.
Yeah, if
This
we
is
kept
part
going,
two.
we would have
Maybe
a
like-
6-hour podcast.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
I
so
would've talked all
what do you
night.
want to hit with aliens? What do you mean?
I mean, first thoughts, man.
Well, absolutely, there are aliens.
for sure.
There's no way we're
Yes.
the only sentient life in existence.
Yes.
There's no way.
Some of the people around this college, yes, there are definitely aliens.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen people fly in the sky with their cars. There are aliens. Probably the commuters. There are definitely aliens.
I mean, they are I can't say that. That's rude, right?
What? Commuters?
Yeah.
I mean, I just said it.
That was more
They're
direct.
a special kind of people.
Yeah.
Do you think aliens played a role in Earth?
I mean,
development?
dude, those fucking pyramids.
Oh no, that's such a weak no.
No, I'm with them on that, actually.
You with them on that one?
So, how the hell can they get these big-ass blocks stacked?
All right, let me just a couple words, and I think it was, I don't know which comedian said it. Oh, I think it was Louis C.K. Any great achievement in history has just been done by human suffering. So they just threw bodies at the pyramid till they were done.
Yeah.
Like, how are we gonna build these massive
Yeah, that
buildings?
doesn't answer how they stacked them.
It takes a lot
It was a lot of. They had thousands to thousands of slaves building these pyramids.
There were a lot of Jews back then. I think.
Yeah, they were building for years.
That's historically accurate.
No, he
That's-
is accurate. And the,
He
the,
looked directly at me.
the way he said it was kind of weird. Like, there were a lot of Jews, but I think like, no, yeah, they were.
Why did you stare
Jewish
directly
people.
at me?
I don't know.
There were a lot of Jews
I
back
can
then.
listen. I could stare at you, or I could stare at Tommy. Either way, it was coming off the
You're
same
trying to imply
way.
that I'm Jewish.
No, I mean, are you?
No, Catholic.
Well, then you have no
Why do you
reason
think
to
I'm
be
here?
offended. You have no reason to be offended.
I was offended when you looked at me like that, like as if you wanted that.
Back on topic.
It's like, hey, chill. Chill out.
They just did it with the slaves and the work, and
I
they
tell you,
had
man, that's a lot of slaves.
they had
It's
tens
a lot of
of
pyramids.
thousands. How many?
You telling me that they could take a big ass block like that with a bunch of people and keep gradually going up big blocks like that?
Yeah, because we don't see
Objection, young man.
We don't see like the possible scaffolding they had to build it with, the possible tools they had to build.
But
we
they didn't
don't
have
see
elevators.
Not scaffolding isn't elevators.
But you're taking this big ass block and you're saying we're gonna get it up 5 more of these blocks.
Yeah, you're gonna take 30 people and say if 10 of you die while doing this, we don't care.
Yeah, but like,
It
how
takes
come
more
it
than 10 people.
stopped after them? Like, no
But
one
peop-
else has done anything.
People
like
that are block like above
Because
can't reach
slavery's
down.
gone
and grab it.
away.
recently.
You
In the
can't-
grand history of the world, it's very recent that we no longer have slaves.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, it was outlawed in like 65 in the United States, 1865. That's not that long ago. But we weren't building pyramids here.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
Like,
Well,
nothing like
we
the
built
pyramids.
towers.
Yeah.
Well, it was
But
built.
towers are a lot easier to make than pyramids, I feel.
We threw just like
Yeah.
we threw immigrants at the skyscrapers, not slaves.
Those were my people.
And like
Italians.
Irish Italians, and like in like 1910 in New York City. Oh my God, that was what built those.
Just falling off a skyscraper, just
Yep.
another day in
They
the
died
office.
steel mill. Oh my God, yeah, that's what built those. No, it was just because like also like economically, obviously Egypt failed, so pyramids like weren't great. So they stopped building giant things with slaves. They put the resources to other things.
Failed and conquered are two different
Okay.
things.
Let's remember something. Okay, because people, like a big bunch of people, like if he and I were at the bottom of this big ass brick and we're pushing it up to you and you're reaching down, you can't grab it.
Okay.
I'm sure there was some type of pulley system.
Obviously, yes. There's a pulley. There are ropes.
Where
there
is
are
it?
They took it down.
Why haven't we seen it?
Wood degrades.
Why
dude.
haven't we seen cave drawings of it?
Well, when
What are you
Why isn't
on?
it stenciled on the pyramid?
Because that
Well,
would be
there are
disgraceful to the
hieroglyphs.
tomb of the pharaoh.
Do you know what happens when you get to the top of the pyramid and you go straight down? There's a big ass UFO underneath.
Oh my God. we're in the
To the
pyramids.
underworld.
They do like tours into the pyramids, and there's like nothing in there, or like obviously there's treasures and secret like caves, all that in the pyramids. So like, What?
They do tours in
I didn't
pyramids?
know
Yeah,
that.
they do. Yeah, they do tours of the pyramids.
Dan, check that. Check that fact.
So when was the pulley system invented? Like, as far as we can tell, was that like
I don't know.
It was before Renaissance, I'd imagine.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, obviously, and also, even if they didn't have pulleys, again, you're underestimating how strong 30 people are with 30 ropes. They can pull a big stone
Oh
up.
no, not that size stone.
No.
Oh, you're kidding.
That
me.
stone's like the size of this room.
Remember, we're not talking 30 Thomases here. We're talking like 30 me's. Okay, that's.
Oh my God.
They're malnourished.
You need like
like,
you need
they're
like
slain.
200.
It's more than 30. There's thousands of them working on this pier day and night. Maybe not day and night, but, from the Pharaoh, whenever it
It's
is.
just they're massive. They're massive, like in comparison to shit we can build with modern technology. Manpower is not enough.
Yeah,
You need-
obviously they didn't have cranes, but they had just bodies, and they just threw bodies at it for generations till it was built.
There's only so much the human body.
No,
can
that's
do.
the Great Wall of China.
What?
Because people died while making it,
There's
and
bodies.
they're inside the Great Wall. I don't think the same things with the pyramids.
The Great Wall, though. That is still impressive. That's crazy.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable. Well,
because
no,
they were smart. They depicted it in drawings, and you could see bodies in between like big ass blocks.
Now he's talking about Attack on Titan like a nerd. It's anime reference. You wouldn't get it. No, but the Great Wall of China wasn't built all at one time like the pyramid was. The pyramid was built in one pharaoh's lifetime for his grave. The Great Wall of
That's
China.
crazier,
All right.
though.
All right, Scotty. I'm trying to have a conversation here, buddy. Come on, Scotty. You're ruining your own
Technical
podcast here.
difficulties.
Just
Oh, my
ruining-
podcast was already ruined. Don't worry about
This is
it.
a good conversation. The Great Wall of China was built over I don't know how many generations to prevent the Mongol invasion, everything like that. The pyramid was built, in one lifetime, which is crazy.
But doesn't that make it crazier? They had one lifetime to build that shit. If it spanned the entire Egyptian timeline, then yeah, maybe I would buy that. But in the time span from Egypt being crowned Pharaoh being crowned Pharaoh to dying, and life expectancy wasn't as long as it is today.
No, it's not.
They have maybe, let's say, I don't know, I'll give them 60 years to build one
That's
of
like
those things.
a lot. That's max.
You can't do that in 60 years with no technology. That's insane.
They had technology. They had building systems. They had ropes, pulleys. I'm sure they had scaffolding. They had
Well,
barbaric
they
elevators.
definitely had scaffolding and stuff, but still.
It's like, I don't know. It's just, yeah, obviously it's hard to think, but we had the most powerful resource of all time back then. Bio-robots. Humans. You can work a human until they die, and then, oh look, their kid is now old enough to work and do it again. For generations they
I
did
don't know.
that. It's
The
great.
human body can only take so much.
Right. Yeah, then the human body dies, and they replace it with the next
Have you
slave.
ever seen one big rock on the pyramid?
Yeah, they're big, dude. They're
Too big.
They're not
They're too big.
They're not too big.
They're really fucking big.
Oh yeah, they're really fucking big, but it's like, again, you put 100 people on that with some ropes and some pulleys, they're getting that up there. And also
60 years.
they had the motivation of the lifetime with Egyptian guards with spears killing them if they didn't get the brick up.
Fucking, I'd rather die.
A lot of them did. That's the thing. A lot of them did die. So I
Okay.
totally believe in aliens. Aliens did not build the pyramids.
I don't know if they built it. Something had an influence, man.
I don't know, man.
Well, let's steer it back to aliens because that's how you started this.
Yeah.
What else? Bring something good to the
Well,
table.
clearly we all agree that aliens are definitely out there somewhere. So let's
Yes.
bring it closer in. Do you believe that we have had contact?
Ooh, that's tough.
Hmm.
I mean, honestly, I would say we've had something because basically on technological advances, the past 10 years, even 5 years, has been so much more rapid than all of human history.
Yeah.
It took us 2 million years to make the first smartphone, and in 5 years we've made 10 after that are all way better, and
Yeah.
processors got way better. And so if there was an intervention, which I don't know if I believe there was, I'd say it's more recent than we think. Not in the 60s. I'm saying 1995 we had an intervention because that was when technology exploded. Scotty?
I think that we have someone here has definitely been in contact
Like,
on Earth.
In this room? I haven't.
No, not in the room. I mean, Ryan maybe, but I definitely think somebody has had contact.
Elon Musk.
No.
That is an example.
No.
Though. That is an example.
No,
A crazy entrepreneur
No.
who's been technologically driven.
He's a fucking genius.
Where did the idea for you to build a privatized space industry? Obviously, you can make money from it. Like that's profits. Obviously, profits drive everything. But that's like a very specific profit avenue to go down.
It was a group of scientists who wanted to get to the moon.
Nah, E.T. just wants to go home, dude.
SpaceX.
Man, he still can't find his way home.
Oh yeah, back in the space race of like the '60s, whatever. But like I'm talking about Elon Musk and SpaceX. That's for more than just profits. I'm just saying that. Elon Musk,
I think he
gets
knows
what's going on.
what he can do, and I think he wants to share it with the world, and he wants to be a part of what can be found.
He's determined to get to Mars.
I don't know if I'd say like.
I don't know if it will though.
I don't know if I'd say he's had contact with aliens. Okay.
I don't. He may be an alien.
No, that's Mark Zuckerberg. that's the Zuck.
Shape-shifting lizard people, fucking.
Well, you know, it was interesting though to say like either was an alien or contact. Leonardo da Vinci. His inventions were way ahead of his time.
Mm-hmm.
He was limited by the technology of his time. If he'd been like born in modern time, maybe with his brain, oh my god, so something was up with him.
Well, yeah, you can say that with a bunch of inventors, but that doesn't mean that
He was like
aliens dropped them off. They met aliens or anything like that.
Yeah, he made a tank and like
Helicopter.
It's
I
crazy.
think the people that see aliens don't stay here. That's just me.
Like, do you mean like stay
On Earth.
or they go into hiding on Earth, or they go off of the
They
planet?
go with them.
Either I think they go with them, or they just go insane.
Yeah.
From what they see. I forget who it was. You watched Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan?
Thomas, you watched Joe Rogan.
Not really.
I adore Joe Rogan.
You watched Joe Rogan. Okay. Okay, it's all coming together again.
Yeah, I watched
Okay,
Joe Rogan.
the mist has faded. I see everything
Yes.
again. Okay, do you remember the podcast a while back? He had somebody on who claimed that at Area 51 they do have a UFO that they captured.
No, I don't recall.
Okay. I refrain from my point then.
But here's the thing. UFO just means like unidentified flying object,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
That does not mean it has to be an alien. It can just be a Russian, North Korean, something kind of a craft they found. It's unidentified flying object.
We got to
So-
remember, they have studied the way that they move.
What do you mean? Wait, what?
Have you seen like videos like of how quick they can move? A UFO can go quick.
Yeah, it's great.
Cameras can't catch
Those
it.
videos are all just so fake, though. Some of them,
All of them?
Are you sure?
vast majority.
I don't know, man.
They're also like from like 2 years ago. The pixelization looks like it's from like the
There
80s.
was one video.
Well, yeah, because you have to zoom your camera in all the way.
I can crack my fingers on the mic. I don't know.
That's fine. People like that sound.
But the zooms on like just
ASMR.
oh my god. Even the zooms on like basic cameras are getting crazy enough. It's not gonna be that pixelated.
So, Ryan, how do you feel about UFOs? I personally get turned on by the idea.
I think the rest of your audience just did too.
Well, someone did. It wasn't me. I know that much.
I'm not gonna say it wasn't me, but so there was a video of like this Air Force, plane. It's an Air Force. That's what they have, and it had like the camera or whatever looking down. It might have been a drone. I don't know, but this fucking like black dot just comes zooming across the camera, and it could barely keep up with it. But like it was the Air Force's footage, like it didn't have like the stuff tracking
That's
it.
like a
and,
jet, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was flying?
Yeah.
That's like the fastest thing we have, right?
Yeah.
Drones.
A bug can't fly that fast. A bird sure as hell can't fly that fast.
Some birds can drop.
Not Mach
fast.
speed.
But we're talking,
Not Mach
we're
speed,
talking
no.
fast. We're talking 2 million miles per hour.
No, they can't break the sound barrier, obviously. But it's like I don't know if some birds can. I don't know.
No, there's no way in hell. We can barely break the sound barrier with our. I mean, what we get Mach 2.
Now we can go Mach 3, can't we? I have no idea. My brother's in the
Don't
Army,
look at me,
Air
I don't
Force,
know. I do podcasts and make videos on YouTube. I don't know shit, okay? Why am I here? I don't know.
You said the thing about Da Vinci with like him being way ahead of his time.
Yeah.
I don't want to jump the gun. This kind of takes it into a different topic.
Go for it.
But I've had multiple conversations about like where do your thoughts and ideas come from? Because some of the ideas I've had, and I'm sure you guys too, you're like, how the fuck did I come up with that? Or like,
Yeah.
who the fuck comes up with like I don't know the helicopter or whatever? And like Da Vinci, where did those thoughts come from? Where he could just come up with that shit?
No, it's crazy. Like, some humans just have that little, like, knack in them that's, like, driving to something their whole life. They can't say what it is. I can say in our time now, like, all of our inventions and things like that, which Da Vinci didn't have access to, has just been, like, thousands of years, or hundreds of years for, like, modern computer science and things like that has been building up to it. Da Vinci just didn't have that. He didn't have, like, pre-built calculus like we have now. He didn't have mathematicians making, you know, these machines and crazy things like that. He would have been, like, the first to build it, obviously. So he was lacking. But some people have that knack. I don't know. I don't know.
But it's like, like, if you think about everything you know and you think about, it's influenced by, like, shit you've seen in your life or something.
Right.
You've seen sci-fi or whatever. And even sci-fi stuff's related to stuff in the real world. He had seen none of this stuff even related. Like,
did sci-fi even, like, exist as a genre, as, like, literature back then?
No. It was, like, Shakespeare, and he was just coming up with, like, Romeo and Juliet and shit. But, like, he had never seen anything close to a tank. He had never seen anything close to resembling anything that a human could fly. Yet he's coming up with inventions that we made today. Where'd that shit come from? Like, those ideas just pop into his head.
Yeah. If he had had the knowledge of the it's a Barolus effect of the low pressure, high pressure that lets planes fly. Whether wings are curved, it creates a high pressure, low pressure that creates lift. That's how lift's generated. If he had access to that knowledge of how it worked, he would have absolutely made the first Wright brothers plane before the Wright brothers did. He absolutely would have.
Yeah. At least like a gliding machine, because they didn't have the energy, like the technology to make like engines or whatever.
No, he had nothing. It would have been a glider. Yeah, it would have been a glider. Yeah, you're right. Good, Scotty?
Okay, I don't want to sound stupid, but it was like, I think I was in high school and I had this idea, technically a theory, I guess. I always thought that, you know how someone sees something, like they get stunned to the point where, like, they go completely insane or they're just, like, frozen.
Yeah.
I always thought that people would see aliens and that's what would happen.
Like frozen in fear?
Frozen in fear, or, like, go complete batshit crazy.
Now, do you mean like relating it back to maybe Da Vinci, or am I thinking of something different?
Maybe. Because maybe Da Vinci was able to actually calculate it in his mind. But to people like us who aren't millions of miles ahead of everyone else, if you saw an alien, would you freak the hell out?
Oh, no, fuck yeah, dude.
That's exactly.
No. But
I think he was able to figure it out and process it, and I always thought some of us don't have the capabilities to process that in our mind. So we would freak out or just be like frozen.
Oh yeah, we freak out when we see like animals we don't recognize. It's like clearly it's a bear or some kind of deer, but it looks funny, and we freak out and don't recognize. What if it's something we have 0% what it is, and it looks terrifying like an alien?
Yeah.
Like when images of like Slender Man, if like that was what aliens looked like, that appeared to you like in the actual woods or something like that, I would not move. I would be frozen in fear. Are you kidding me?
I think I'd literally piss myself.
Yeah, there's nothing you could do in that.
No.
I don't care how like tough you are, unless you have the mental fortitude of Leonardo da Vinci or some crazy person. Nah, you're going insane.
But I think he and other people are able to process that much better than the rest of us.
Every human.
So Pete, this is, and the government may kick down this door in a few seconds when I say it. I always thought a few years ago, the government knows who they can trust to work for them because of like that mind test or whatever it's called. So if that kind of person was given the information of aliens, what they know, what they think they know, or if they have one in a room somewhere, they can mentally process it and like fake it to the rest of the world to say we don't have anything.
Right.
Now the government hasn't kicked in the door yet, but that's what I always thought.
Well, if they kicked in the door, that's a surefire way to say you're right.
Someone's got to upload this as soon as they kick on the door.
It's like, fuck, I'll hold him off. Hand me that roller.
But you know, if we do say something right and they kick down the door, we know we got something.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
I mean, I think we'll all be dead, but at least we had something.
To say that they don't know about that kind of shit and that they're just completely clueless, then
That's a lie.
I mean, you have to realize us as citizens are wildly, blissfully ignorant to what the government really does in areas. Look at what happened with the international, like the listening agency that was brought up by, oh my gosh, I just learned about him in class. The dude that broke just thousands of leaked documents, brought them out to the public about the government listening into every single phone call,
Yes.
every single text message.
Yes.
I can't remember his name. Just learned I can't remember.
That's why I disconnect from the Wi-Fi when I record these.
So like, yeah, he brought all these crazy out, and people were like,
you think they need the Wi-Fi?
shocked.
Yes.
No, dude, they don't need the Wi-Fi.
There, looking at all of you.
Yeah.
What?
This side of the camera lens, that side. They are looking at us right now.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong.
Dude, of course they are.
Yes. That whole Facebook thing also that came out like a month ago.
Like the data mining and
God.
privacy losses. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Facebook Messenger thing. They gave access to people to see other conversations other people had.
It's crazy. I mean, how many times? I don't know if you guys remember. Like, there was like several times when I had Facebook. This was like 8 years ago. I don't know, whenever it was. That they would send you a message and it'd be like, "Hey, we're having problems with our privacy or whatever. You should reset your password now." And that happened like all the time.
I remember the one time it was a link because Facebook was hacked and it was sent out to a bunch of people. They hit the link and it was fake.
Mm-hmm.
And you just gave all of your access information, everything on your computer, your phone, whatever you were using to whoever the data breacher company was.
Yeah. Because people don't ever realize you can download a whole preset of viruses and malware onto your computer from clicking one thing that you didn't mean to click or didn't want to. And also, just a little trick, my brother told me this because he's way smarter about computers than I am with this. Because of like a Health and Safety Act a couple of years ago by the government, if you ever on your computer and something is like appearing in front of you think is fake, if there's any audio with it, it's fake. Because for like deaf Americans, it cannot have any audio with it. It has to only be visual.
What's deaf Americans?
No, deaf. Not deaf.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, my bad.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, like, if you're on your computer and you think it's fake, if it has any audio, like, you have a virus, download this to get rid of it.
Oh,
It's like,
I know.
It's like beeping at you, like, get rid of it. Totally fake.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, these data breach things.
Oh, it's crazy.
I keep thinking of getting rid of Facebook. But I have a friend that only uses Messenger to talk to me, so that's the only reason I still use it.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I'll check it every now and then. I'm like, why the hell am I still on here?
Yeah.
Are you still on Facebook?
No.
Are you?
I've never had a Facebook.
That's a good move.
I just never had an interest.
You're on
in it.
Instagram, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of getting rid of that, too.
Really?
I mean, I'm already putting a lot of stuff on YouTube. I mean, why have any other social media at this point?
You gotta promote, man.
I mean,
How far do you think they're listening? Like,
how deep do they go in
deep?
conversation? I think, like, you know, like how in like comedy or in movies or something, they have that big room and there's that big TV screen in front of everyone, all these computers and portables and everything. I think that's real. I really think that's real. I would believe that there's a bunch of people that are wiretapped into every phone call that's made.
for sure.
And if they don't get it, it's like the next one, they hit a button, it goes to the next one, they just keep filing through. I believe that. I definitely believe that.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't there actually like things that proved that a while
Well,
ago?
I mean, like, if you're talking about, like, what, like, key words and phrases during, like, the terrorist scare days of after 9/11 and things like that, that absolutely, I think the government was, like, open about this. Yeah, we basically have, you Googled the word, like, terrorism, like, jihad, like, certain things, we were watching internet history for, like, a week out, or a month after that. Like,
I believe that.
absolutely. And I think the government's out and said it's true. So, like, we know that's true. So, for a fact, they can do keyword searches in, like, text messages and Google history. Phone calls, I don't know about. If they can, like, listen
I
for
almost
keywords.
guarantee it. I'd put money on it. Do you think they're listening when you're not on the phone? Just like having a conversation in your house?
I know Amazon continues to record with
Alexa?
Alexa
Yeah.
and the Echo Dot. I know those still record.
Yep.
But I don't know what Amazon does with it. And I know when you're on Facebook, like if you do a video chat, I know Facebook has a record of that. Like they're recording it as you do it.
Well, I'm saying I don't trust the government enough to not just always be listening.
I mean, well, you think about it. Back, I think it was like a month ago, the shooting in Texas, a week after another one, and then I told you about this. The weekend there was like 3 mass shootings that got prevented by, I think it was the CIA.
Or yeah, yeah.
Well, one of them they got information from the girl, the ex-girlfriend of the guy that was going to shoot up. I think it was a school.
Yeah.
Or
one of the usual
grocery store.
targets.
But that was just one of them. The other 2, it was just stuff on Facebook. Like someone that has like 10 friends, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think people reported that. Because who the hell's going to... No one takes that shit
That's
serious.
what we're trying to do now with the see something, say something, because... Wait, you went to school in PA.
Yeah.
High school, and you're a freshman.
Yeah.
Scotty, you probably wouldn't know about this then. My senior year of high school in PA, they started the like the Safe to Say Something program and app. Basically, they had a big meeting at the beginning of the year and said, hey, because of obviously it's a problem, school shootings, they are a problem, and the best way to prevent them is to report something before it happens. And so they told us to download the app called Safe to Say Something, PA, and it was 100% anonymous. And basically, you can report to the school, which report to like a state, or report to the state. And they tell your school district if you think there's something wrong.
Oh, really?
Yep.
All anonymous.
Basically, when you started your thing, you had to enter in a like 4-digit PIN, and that was how they would know if they had to go to a specific like school or student for it. They knew because of your PIN.
Oh, really?
But you could, So basically, and no teachers would know. They would say, "Hey, teacher or principal, in your school, one of your students reported he heard a student saying." Hey, don't come to school next week, buddy, because you're my one friend. That's a threat. So obviously you can report that totally anonymous.
Now, you see, that's the Da Vinci mindset, an app like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Getting back to Da Vinci, what you said.
Yeah. To actually have something that can...
Because that's smart.
Yeah.
All anonymous, because you don't want to throw anyone under the bus.
And students are not comfortable telling that to a teacher. I don't care how good your relationship with is like a student to teacher. 99% of the time, a student will not tell a teacher in person.
Well, kids say shit like, not like to that extent, but like, me and Scotty are fucking around. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna fucking kill you, like shit like that.
High
like,
schoolers, they're gonna threaten each other all the time.
But like, there was actually a scare where I used to go to school. This kid, he was real quiet, like shitty life. He like basically was homeless.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and like about like a week, he was like just posting shit on a story like, fuck this shit, like I'm done with this school, like why am I alive? And then one day he posts a picture, like a couple videos where he's like checking out like his cousin's guns or whatever, and a bunch of people like went to the school. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
this ain't funny anymore or whatever.
No.
I mean, like I knew the kid. He's like the nicest fucking kid. Like I knew he wasn't gonna do anything or whatever, but people like they take shit.
People
like,
get scared.
Yeah.
It's been our whole like Scotty. You're a little older than us, just by a couple years though. So you grew up with like school shootings, obviously, like all through your high school.
Yep.
And elementary school.
Yep.
Because we all went to school like post Columbine. That was what 99, 98 was Columbine.
My school didn't even have fucking metal detectors.
Neither did mine. We had no resource officer, no metal detectors.
Dude, we didn't have a police officer.
No, we definitely didn't. No. The public school did.
No,
dude,
Thomas, I know you went to private school. I went to private school. You went to public, right, Ryan?
Yeah.
But it was just tiny public.
Yeah, it was real small.
How many was in high school? You said
My graduating class was 60.
That is small public. That
That's
for public,
small.
that's small.
that's
Dude,
really.
we had no security.
We know the weird thing is all those shootings that happen. It's always public school.
Yeah.
Because
Well, shit, you gonna
private school, you think about it, you get away with it so much easier.
in private school?
What,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
You didn't have metal detectors.
Yeah, no.
You didn't have a security guard. We didn't have security cameras in my high school until the year after I graduated.
No, my high school.
If you went into my school and you just start shooting,
my high school.
that's it.
We got robbed like 3 times or 4 times. We still never put in security cameras. We didn't have the money for it.
Really?
I have 3 older brothers. They all went to my high school, and I was the last one through. When my second oldest brother was there, they were robbed twice. And when I was there, they were robbed twice. Someone broke in through the back door. It was different every single time. The first time they stole a TV from the cafeteria, like the cafeteria TV. Second time they tried to break into the office to steal like money, which is not kept in the office.
Yeah.
The third time they stole laptops from teachers' rooms. They broke into teachers' rooms, stole laptops. And the fourth time they stole the cafeteria TV again.
Yeah.
I think. If I got that wrong, I'm misremembering, but we were broken in at least 3 or 4 times.
No, it was like. Go ahead.
Back to that like private versus public thing with the
Yeah.
shootings. Just because I look into this topic a lot.
I know I wasn't gonna get away with that one easily. Go ahead.
Now, correlation doesn't equal causation, but
Right.
an absurd amount, like percentage, I think it's like over like 97 or 96% of the shooters are white male.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like 70 something, I think even more than that, are on some type of antidepressant or something like that, or have been. And there's also a large percentage of them that don't have dads.
Ooh, okay.
Well,
okay.
what does that tell you then?
Well, number one, I don't think they're going to be able to afford to go to a private school.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, but and I think I talked about this with you on our podcast, Thomas. Even though you're in a private school and it's so small, you still have those groups. And there's always that one kid that's left out.
Yeah, no.
We sure as hell had
yeah.
those at mine.
People think because we were like a small school, everyone knows each other, which,
Yeah.
everyone knows each other, but doesn't mean you're friends with everybody.
It's a private school.
it's
You're
always a
paying to be
private.
nice to people
Yeah.
at this point.
there's always some kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Shit, I went to a private school in elementary school where there was like maybe 12 kids in the class, and we had a kid like that.
Yep.
Like there's always a kid.
Even if it's 5, there's going to be
there's a kid.
someone at least over a period of time.
Yeah. In the four grades of the high school, there's gonna be 1 or 2 every single time. Every single time.
Whenever you're in a group, no matter how big or how small, there's always that one quiet person.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 2, but usually it's just 1.
Mm-hmm.
Always have that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Why doesn't that one kid talk?
It's group dynamics. Even though he might not want to talk, he might feel safer or just feel better in a group. Things like that. I don't know.
And when he doesn't talk over that period of time, and the friends think nothing of it, what's he thinking about over there?
It's just our generation, like end of millennial, beginning of Gen Z is what we are, right? Kind of like that weird, weird area. I just say Gen Z.
I think I'm considered like a millennial still. I think.
Like 18-year-old, we are on the edge. I say Gen Z.
Well, I think because I was born in 2000, I think I'm a millennial.
I'm 2001.
Yeah, I think I just made it.
Yeah.
Were you born after 9/11?
No, I was born March 2001. So 6 months.
Okay,
6
so you were
months.
before.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember it. I was 6 months old, but no, I am like, yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, it was so crazy. The class after me in American history, modern American history, they were taught 9/11 as a historical event after they were born. Like, that's crazy to me.
9/11 is like. Whenever growing up, they would have like the events on TV, and because it is like a monumental like tragedy. But like, are we at that point where it's just a part of history?
I think absolutely it's just a part of history now.
There.
Because now it's no longer just 9/11. It's 9/11 leads into the war on terror, the search for weapons of mass destruction. It leads into other things.
Like, is 9/11 beginning to just be Pearl Harbor?
Well, you see, the problem is no matter which documentary you watch now, politics always get involved after 9/11 happened because people say it's either an inside job or it was a war on terror.
Mm-hmm.
They always say the two things, and then politics will get mixed in if you watch a documentary about it, and then the message gets lost.
Right.
And then, like, if someone made a timeline documentary that followed all the way back to Pearl Harbor, JFK, and then the timeline just kept going. When you hit 9/11 and then you go past that, that's when politics really kicks in.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what the documentary was. I saw it a few years ago. But it was starting to do the timeline. Once it hit 9/11, talking about George Bush for half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Was it an inside job? Was it not? It gets lost.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
And the more it keeps happening now.
Yeah.
I mean, it was what? When was Pearl Harbor? That was 19...
It was 41.
1941. JFK assassination, early
63.
63.
I think,
Good for you that you know these dates. You're helping my point. Okay, so that's like a 21-year span, and then you look at fucking school shootings, can't even get a week by, apparently.
Ever since Columbine in 98, 99, whatever, I don't know that year, it has been every single week. Twice a week, 3 times a week.
It just gets
What do you
worse.
do?
Mass shootings
We had
are...
this conversation last time, too. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, but we had to cut that one short.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it.
What do you got?
What do you do?
Say it.
Well,
This is why we brought you back. You have all the answers.
I've had like at least like 3 different conversations on the same topic since then. It's
Who else has a podcast around here?
it's not a podcast, just back home.
Oh, okay.
So with me and my buddy, we were talking, and I'm very pro gun. Like 100%, you have the right to defend yourself. I have the right to your gun.
Mm-hmm.
But I think at this point, as sad it is, I think you should have to have a license, and I think you should have to get renewed to like be able to purchase a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing we're not talking about is the mental health issue, which I feel like is
Right.
a bigger issue than
Completely
the
agree.
actual gun issue itself.
I think we talked about it. I think I said it
Yeah.
when you and I last
Mhm.
did the podcast with each other. I think I talked about how no military grade of any kind should be allowed.
Yeah.
Because that's a mass murder right there.
Mhm.
You hit on an accident, that's a mass murder.
Mhm.
It really is if you don't know what you're doing. The problem is people that do have gun licenses can buy a gun, and some guy who doesn't have a gun license or anything, may not even be a citizen, honestly,
No.
can try and buy one off a guy who has one. There's no, it's not trading a vehicle in. There's nothing you have to sign. You just have to hand it to the guy.
Yeah.
No, but like that's illegal.
That is
Like,
illegal. That is very illegal.
That would be
Only
illegal.
if you get caught.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
anything.
anything's
You could go
illegal
steal
if
a
you
gun, same thing, and
Yeah.
both equally illegal.
There was a murder in my hometown where basically a grandson broke into his grandparents' gun safe.
Yeah.
And it was like a double lock gun safe, totally legal to have. They did everything right. He just broke in, stole their guns, shot them, and then went to football practice. Yeah. My dad actually was a coach too, which was kind of crazy.
That's crazy.
So basically, so pretty much, it was just like they did everything right. Mm-hmm. But because of his mental health, he just thought he'd just break in and do it. And so obviously, mental health is the question. But I've always thought of it as like, this is a very simplistic view of how I think of like to fix the mental, not to fix it, but a solution possibly is credit score. Companies, banks, government, they know every bad purchase, every mistake you've ever made on your credit forever, for your whole life, and it's tracked by a number, and you get a score. Why shouldn't gun owning be a thing like that? You were put on antidepressants 3 months ago for a 1-year treatment. Your score just went from 1,000 for owning guns to a 500, and you needed 700 to own a gun. We can track, obviously through governments, we can track everything about every single citizen in this country. Yeah. From any medication, any previous injuries, anything they've done in their life, we have record of it through hospitals, through whatever. Why can't that be a score or some kind of thing just to keep track of? It needs to be better tracked. Something needs to change.
My thing on that is like, because I believe everyone has the right to defend themselves. What better way to do so than with a gun?
Right.
But it's so hard to keep guns out of people that are like so mentally unstable to the point where they would do something like that. In someone who might just be like, might have a little bit of depression or something, has been on a like antidepressant at one point in their life, you know?
Right.
It's just so hard to differentiate.
Right.
It's a solution that's going to piss a lot of people off. Mm-hmm. If there's going to be a solution.
Because also, I'm sorry, this is like part of the conversation is what no one want to talk about is taking guns away from veterans. That is something we cannot talk about because they're heroes. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I thank everyone for their service. I'm a military family. I come from a very military family. I respect veterans with all my heart. But however, there are veterans, I don't know how many millions on severe PTSD medication and antidepressant medication, and they are just mentally not as fit as they once were. And I thank them for their service. I don't know if they should have guns.
Yeah, it's definitely touchy because like you said, they're like the nation's heroes.
Yeah, obviously that's what our nation was built on: was brave American men and women fighting and being veterans. So, but it's tough. It's just.
But you can't make exceptions to that. If you're going to take guns away from people that are mentally ill, you got to take away from all of them.
Yep, you can't make exceptions.
No,
it's tough.
Like I feel like the conversation, the argument, just like in the political field, is just so gun oriented, gun regulation, gun ban, this or whatever. Yeah. They're just skipping all of it.
Yeah, they're skipping every part.
They're just skipping right to let's start regulating all stuff. It's like, well, let's take a few steps back and really like dissect the situation. Like, why did this happen? Who did it? What past did they have or whatever? It's like there's a very, very strong correlation between the shootings and the kind of people that are doing it. Like statistics shows a very large, like very specific group of people that
vast majority.
Yeah, I think there are clearly exceptions. Like
there's always gonna be exceptions to every majority ever. That's how statistics work. Yeah.
And like correlation doesn't equate to causation, but whenever you have like over 90%, then maybe should probably look into it.
Yeah, and like the politics side of it is so like I don't know how you guys think about it, but for me, I always think politics they always the most extreme is what they jump to. Because they want to like grab your attention, hook you to their line of thinking with the extreme, and then they might hit you with the small things, but they always start with the extreme. They always start with the extreme.
Well, I don't because I follow politics a decent amount. I don't know about you guys, but
not heavily.
And I don't want to feel like biased because I am more conservative, but what I have noticed with like the Democratic and the left side is it's either you are left or you are not a Democrat. It is you are for a gun ban and all this stuff. It's like you are for banning guns, you're for universal health care, you're for all this stuff. There's not a lot of moderates anymore.
No, there's no middle ground.
And in like the conservative side, it's just so quiet. You don't hear them a lot at all. It's always the left is so much louder than the right. And but the problem is the lefts that are the loudest are the far lefts. Right. I mean, the far right are really loud too, but everyone hates the far right. You know, even the rights hate the far rights. Problem is the lefts they don't like. They agree.
Yeah, they don't hate the far left.
Like far rights is I'm a racist, white supremacy and shit. Everyone hates those guys.
Of course you hate those people.
That's like no one likes those guys.
They should be buried below the prison.
Yeah, no one likes those guys. The far left though, they're really persuasive.
They can sound nice. It's just such a minefield of and I am a big family. We're a very diverse family because even though we grew up in small towns, obviously more conservative, my brothers have moved to bigger cities and they've seen outside of small town, and their minds have expanded. They see new horizons. They meet new people, and so it's just that's what I just like to say. I'm just down the middle. I always usually say like libertarian.
Yeah,
I'm like fiscally conservative because I believe a strong economy is important for our nations, like being preserved. But I also believe that people have the rights to live their life how they want to live it and what makes them happy.
Yeah, I'd say my personal ideals are a lot more libertarian, but if I were to look at it more as like regulation and bills like that, I would definitely lean more conservative. Because like personally, I don't give a fuck what you do as long as it doesn't impede on someone else's rights. Go for it. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But looking at it on the larger scale of things, I definitely lean more right.
It's just so tough now to even talk about it.
Yeah.
Like right now, like this is a very safe podcast to talk about. Like no one's gonna interrupt and argue. We're not gonna hate each other over what we say. But if you're like out in public, people can like hate you and you get like targeted. And hey, you saw people like the videos during the election in 2016 of like elderly Trump supporters leaving like Trump rallies in their cars. Their windows are getting smashed.
Well, there's definitely a free speech issue in the country right now.
Oh yeah,
that just isn't being addressed at all.
Yeah, it's
like,
bad. It's so bad.
You talk about something mildly offensive, you get shut down.
Yep.
Like online, it's like, well, what are you doing? Like free speech, you should be allowed to say anything, even if it's the most heinous thing ever. You're allowed to say it.
Yeah.
Shit, you could go fly like the Nazi flag in your front yard. You're allowed to do it.
You are legal. Yeah.
You're gonna have some rocks thrown in your house.
You're gonna
you're
get
allowed to do it.
The HOA, the associations, you're probably gonna get kicked out. Yeah. But
you can do it. But I feel like that's being lost. Like
but then also the other Americans. Well, obviously, I just said like they'll take action. America, we are a very like balanced country where if we see someone being like just terrible person, we'll correct it internally.
Yeah. But they can do it. Fuck.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. They can.
Yeah, that's the great part.
Yeah.
I stay out of politics.
Yeah.
You stayed out of that conversation.
It's gotten to the point. I mean, there was a time back when I cared, but it's gotten to the point where there's so much shit that's just tossed in now, and it gets to the point where no matter who you are or what you say, no one cares.
No.
And I've felt this way before, that everyone does have an opinion and a voice. That sure, but that doesn't mean that you're supposed to say everything.
Right.
That's where everyone's getting lost, I feel.
Yeah. Well, it comes down to like etiquette. You don't want to be a dickhead or say something offensive. It's like know a time and a place, you know?
No.
Like if we were to debate politics here, the three, we know each other pretty damn well.
Yeah.
We've known each other long enough now. It'd be very respectful to each other. I may disagree with what you say, but I'll agree with what he says. But I'm not going to hate you for it. I'm still going to see your face tomorrow, and we're still going to have breakfast and lunch and dinner, all our meals. We're still going to go to the gym together. We're going to do all that stuff.
Yeah, it'd be sore tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it seems that as soon as you get out of that friend group, it gets lost so quick.
It gets bad.
Like if you guys weren't here and it was two other people that I don't really know at all, I mean, I'd still be like very respectful. But if I said something, I feel the other person on the other side of this table. Not going to take it very well.
Well, a lot of the times I've noticed it became more, I need to be right, I need to prove you wrong, and I'm not going to back down, I'm going to dig my feet in. Excuse me, I was drinking a bunch of water. And I'm not going to be wrong. And we're both going to dig our heels in and not be wrong, instead of them talking, being like, okay, I agree with what you said there, but I disagree with this here, here's why. And then they find a middle ground and be like, okay, yeah, we agreed on these things here, we disagreed on other things, that's fine, we're allowed to disagree. Now we know what we agree on. That's the important part, we agree on.
Yeah.
But people are so focused on us being right. Like,
and it's like the cafeteria politics where you go into a cafeteria and, oh, I like this part about this side, I'm going to pick this and pick here and pick here. And people should be able to do that. It's like, I like bits and pieces, but I don't like other bits and pieces. No, you have to like the whole thing or you hate the whole thing.
Well,
that's ridiculous.
Well, that's because it makes it tough to vote if you just pick those parts.
Right.
Whoever gets the majority of the parts you picked, you go left or right.
Right.
That's the only way this thing goes.
Yeah. Well, that's because I just recently registered to vote, and that's definitely why I registered conservative, because I've noticed, just because I follow a lot of this stuff, conservatives, there's a spectrum, you know, like you have your far rights, you have like, you know, more moderates, with the left now, like listening to the debate, they're all on the same page and they're all pretty left. Like throwing the word socialist around is pretty like I don't know. That's a pretty bold claim, but like,
Well, because what the word means.
Socialist.
It's yeah.
We know you can only fight about something for so long.
Yeah,
That's true.
And I feel like the Democrats may have gotten to the point where it's there. There's nothing to fight about. We all know the same problems. We all word it differently, but it boils down to that one concept. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
That's what I feel you watched. I didn't watch any of it.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a few highlights on like the news, but I did not watch it.
I didn't watch any of it.
my buddy said to watch because he likes this one guy on there, Yang.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the guys running.
Yep.
And he's not gonna win. He's like bottom of the polls or whatever. But personally, he barely talked much. It was mostly Warren, Biden, and fuck. Why am I blanking? Bernie. Yeah.
Feel the burn.
Yeah.
Feel
It was
the
those three.
burn.
And I mean, shit, dude. Bernie's as far left as you can get. I remember him saying, I remember him saying in one of the debates I was listening to that he believes that the guy that committed the Boston bomber should have just as much right to vote as any other citizen in America.
Ooh.
And I was like, are you like? And he didn't say it like it was implied. He said the Boston bomber by name, and I was like, are you fucking me right now?
He said him by name?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just for effect.
Oh.
But
He did
come
not
on.
know his name before that.
Well, no, he
speech
didn't
was
say
written.
like his name, but he said the Boston bomber.
Right.
Yeah.
I believe in.
He said the words. The
I believe
Boston
in
bomber.
a lot of cases, convicts should absolutely still have the right to vote. If you're non-aggressive, all these you're gonna be in jail for so many easy things. You should absolutely still have the right to vote and all that stuff. So, but that's a pretty extreme case.
Yeah, no, fuck that guy, right? Like,
I think we can all say fuck that guy.
yeah,
right?
fuck that guy.
We can say fuck that. Scotty, say fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
Drawn
Fuck
and
that
quartered.
guy.
Fuck that guy.
Okay, that's
No, fuck that
Oh my
guy.
God.
What'd you say?
He should be drawn and quartered. Fuck that guy.
Ryan, you had me with fuck that guy. You did not have me with drawn and quartered.
I mean, fuck that guy.
Oh, okay, yeah, fuck that guy. He still has to go through court processing and all that.
And after all that's done, we time the 4 horses, slap their asses, and then he's a torso.
Oh my god.
But yeah, Bernie, man.
Like I tried to segue back right after
Listen, you're
that.
gonna save yourself.
In the
You try and save yourself like that.
I want a human being
no,
ripped
listen,
apart.
I stand by the whole 4 horses, man.
So yeah, feel the burn.
In 2016, Bernie had a case. He came in with personally, I didn't think he, I don't think he had a chance.
I'm sorry, no, he didn't.
No, we're on the same page,
was
but like
wrong.
looking at it from an outside point of outside looking in, very different view. We haven't had that before because realistically thinking, we didn't like Russia pretty not that long ago, and communism, fuck that.
We fought a war on communism in the 70s, or when
And
in Vietnam in 71, whatever it was.
Yeah, he comes in and he's like, "Hey guys, socialism's not that bad." Spoiler alert: it's really fucking bad. But he had the balls to say it, and you gotta respect him for that. A country that hates communism and socialism, he was like, "Hey guys, let's try it." And we didn't want to try it, but
It's a shame my first election that I got to vote for because I know you guys didn't get to this past election.
I could have. I didn't.
I got
You were 18 for.
No, I'm sorry.
my
I was gonna say,
first
you were 18 3 years ago.
my first election for the president I ever got to vote for is the most bullshit election of all time. A vote for Hillary is a vote against Trump. A vote for Trump is a vote against. Fuck all that. Who's in the Greenback Party right now? It was so fucking terrible.
Well, in the it was like, "Hey, vote for me so we beat that guy. Vote for me so we beat her." It's like, okay, but what the fuck you doing?
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That was my first one.
Like,
Terrible.
My dad's first one was like Ronald Reagan or something. He had a really cool one to start with.
You know, it would have been nice to have a real presidential election.
this next election is gonna be a joke. It's not even a competition.
It's gonna be bad.
It's gonna be interesting to see.
Well, it's not even a
who's
competition.
What do you mean?
It's like Trump's gonna win.
Oof,
Well, here's why I say that. There's no one on the right.
No, there's no big players on the right.
There's
coming
no
up.
one on the
There's
right.
no
He's
right.
winning the primary. He's
Not
going. You're that's true.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Just wait.
We'll see.
Give it time. Something's
But
gonna happen.
what's happening right now is with the economical growth. If it stays at 4.1, 3.8, that's hard to say anything against though.
He's been. No, everyone thought he was gonna tank, everyone was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Well, you know how many people who voted for him are now saying next 4 years? Hell no.
Yeah.
Because they just didn't want Hillary.
Yeah.
Well, now who's really going to be there for the Democrats?
But like,
That's who the Democrats putting up.
Whoever
Here's
goes up
why.
against him, if that guy or girl has a fighting chance, fuck Trump. I'm going to this side.
Well,
fuck him. I'm going back to Trump. It's going to be like that.
it's gonna be either Warren or Biden. That's the thing. That's how that's predicted right now. I mean, or Bernie, but Bernie says some ridiculous
Bernie's-
shit.
I don't know if
He
Bernie's
just says
gonna
some
make it,
ridiculous
bud.
shit.
Bernie's alive.
Bernie's
And
got a
then-
cool haircut,
shit,
and all, but I don't know if he's going to make it.
Biden reach arounds on 12-year-old girls, and Warren's just kind of a cunt.
Okay. Yes, creepy Uncle Joe. He's
No,
got-
clearly those aren't legitimate like political arguments. But
Well, you could bring that up in a debate, though.
you can. You
can't.
fucking can.
That's how you knock
I
someone
mean,
out.
think about
Trump
it,
probably
dude.
will.
Like, this whole like, how can you simultaneously root for the guy that video evidence touches? Like, he doesn't like he's creepy. Nothing illegal, but definitely needs an ass kicking. How can you simultaneously be like, Me Too movement, girls respect, then he grabs some girl's tits and smells her hair, and you're like, hey, well, let's vote for that guy. Fuck that guy. He's a weirdo and needs his ass kicked for that shit.
Did you see the website that someone made? It's like this really professional looking website. It's just all the pictures, all the videos, everything ever on a website feed, and you can just keep scrolling and scrolling, and it goes on for a long time.
He's a weird fucking
Yeah,
guy.
he's
But he's second. Warren's first right now.
But you know, if he does get there and it's Biden versus Trump,
Well, as of
he's
now-
been a vice president.
As of now, we can safely say that Trump's getting in. He's getting into like the
It depends who comes up.
dude. He's pretty loved.
Yeah, but he's not just gonna cakewalk his way in.
No, he's not.
No,
but he's gonna.
Someone is gonna show up.
He has a lot of experience from last time. He's had a pretty decent like presidential run. He hasn't done anything that bad. He's actually helped the economy a bit. Like I think unemployment rates for like the more like poverty stricken areas, they're like an all-time low.
They say that every year.
Yeah, they say that every year.
They say that every year.
Yeah.
It's like the attendance for the Super Bowl. No one cares.
Um,
You can say that all you want. People aren't gonna go fact check that.
Yeah. The thing I did like about Trump, because trust me, Trump wasn't my first choice. But the thing I like about him, he wasn't fucking around. Anything he said he was gonna do, even though he didn't do it, like he didn't get the wall or whatever, he tried. Like he kept his word with a lot of shit.
Let's talk about the wall.
Yeah?
How do you feel about the wall?
I don't know about the wall, but I do feel like the border security's lacking.
But how do you feel about the wall?
The wall?
How do you feel about it?
I'm not 100% opposed. I mean,
You think it should be built?
I think it's a bit excessive. I feel like just amping up securities.
Do you think we need it?
The wall?
Yeah. I'm coming to you next. You better form
Oh,
your answer.
God, all
I'm
right.
coming to you next, and then I'll answer.
Is this a yes or no?
No, it cannot be a yes or no.
I'm looking. Yeah.
It cannot. No, it
I'm looking
cannot.
for a yes or no.
No, you
because it's
cannot.
interesting who you talk to about this.
You cannot build the
We're
wall.
all
Is not a yes or no.
We're all the
question.
same race, all the same gender here. This
Right.
will be interesting to hear.
Yes. Okay.
You think it should be built?
Well, if you're giving me a yes or no, and I can only answer one way or
You
the other.
can't give them a yes
That's
or
the
no.
thing.
You can't give them a yes
Because it's
or
interesting
no.
because people will say, I'm not sure if I'm sold on it, but if you give them a yes or a no, then you get your answer.
I think we need to bolster up security, and if a wall's the answer, then yeah.
Very good. What about you?
Dude, it's not a yes or no question, man.
You
Because
see,
you have
this is why it's interesting. You have to pick your yes or a no.
It's,
Everyone would say, yes, but, no, but.
right.
I get what you're saying because
Because
if you
You
if
said
you're
yes, but there's a million things you want to say
no, I
right
get it.
now.
But if you're voting for the guy, that's what you're getting.
You
Yeah.
can't go into the ballot and say yes, no, or I'm in the middle. You
Yeah.
can't say
No, I got you. So if I had to choose, then yes, wall.
with stuff attached, of course, that
Yeah.
you want to say.
Yeah.
What would you say? If you had the balance, the good and the bad of it, which one would you be picking?
I say with how much debt crisis and national energy needs and becoming energy independent is so important, but still keeping trade open and good relations, a no but. I'm a no but.
What are we really getting from Mexico?
I'm a no. It was interesting when I talked to my dad about this.
But yeah, what's your butt?
Yeah, what's your butt?
Oh, you want my butt?
'Cause I'm also, I'm also no butt.
Do you know how big of dicks we're gonna look like as soon as we put up a wall?
Yeah, but
You know how soon it's gonna happen to Canada if we do it to Mexico?
Nah.
Do you know how soon it's gonna go on California and then down the East Coast?
Well, here's the problem.
Like
Do you
California down to the east. What did you just say?
Yeah.
California down.
We already got the wall between us and Mexico. At some point, there's gonna be a wall between Canada and America.
There's not an immigration problem.
Yeah.
That is not practical.
Yes, it would.
That wall would be
Remember who we're
thousands
possibly
and
voting
thousands
for the next 4 years.
No one's coming down from Canada.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you're looking at why we're not.
Also, no one's doing that from Canada.
No,
You build one wall, you see what it gets you. Yeah, there's good. There's a shitload of bad, but they're focusing on the good.
But we have.
I know, we keep going.
But is there what bad's coming from building a wall?
From what?
What bad is coming from building a wall?
Bad. I would say it could obviously quickly hurt international relations.
Well, clearly it's expensive.
It's
It's a
expensive.
money
it's,
pit.
it's expensive, obviously.
It is a money pit.
Well, yeah, it's expensive. Okay. Yeah.
We're in debt, and we're never going to get out of it in this country.
Yeah.
But building the wall, aside from the money, is the biggest dick move of all time.
But is it just being
hurt
a
international
dick move?
relations. We can say that.
Is it just being a dick move or hurting international relations?
The guy that's at the UN for us is going to be dead after that wall's finished.
What?
Everyone's going to look at him and be like, you motherfucker. You just built a wall between you and Mexico.
But the
You
benefits.
know how much stuff we get from Mexico?
I mean, yeah, but
the trade is better than ever. The legal trade will continue.
The legal trade, it's better than ever right now. Trump has built very good relations because
You're
also
making it tough with a wall.
Not really.
What is that saying?
We're not passing
not
the trade over the border.
No, we're gonna let people we're gonna
Yes,
let the
we are,
trading in.
actually.
Not where we would build the wall.
Yes, we are.
Do you know where we?
Okay,
what?
slow down.
Okay.
Ryan,
Yes.
in a very calm manner, explain to me why you think they should build a wall. What is your butt?
I mean, the more I think
What
about
is your butt? What's your ass? Come on.
the more I think about it, the more I'm definitely for it, actually. Because the only people it's hurting are the people that are coming over illegal anyway. If you're coming over legal, then we welcome you because you're going to be doing all the right steps. You're going to be... I lost my train of thought. You're basically going to be coming over here legally, you're not going to be breaking the law. The wall's only keeping people out that are breaking the law coming over illegally. The trade's still going to remain because they're doing it legally. It's going to keep all the drugs, all the criminals and stuff. And no, just because I say that some illegal people coming across are criminals doesn't mean that all of the people coming across are criminals. But statistically, there are a decent amount of criminals coming across.
Explain yourself.
I have an opinion because of my girlfriend is not a U.S. citizen. She is a resident, and she had to basically become a resident through the immigration process. And for her, thankfully, it wasn't that hard. She comes from her parents. They're not in poverty. Her dad has a good job, and so they could basically afford to go to not like legal help, but they could go through the process in a quick amount of time with a good background check. They are residents very quickly. That's when the immigration process works. When it doesn't work is when you're on a waiting list for 30 fucking years and you die while you're on the waiting list to become a U.S. citizen. I don't think that's how this country should operate, and so I think building a wall is a improper solution to a problem we need to fix. I think we need to fix the legality of how long it should take, what systems it goes through, making it much more efficient, much more cost-friendly, and in 10 years, after it's been 10 years cost-friendly, more efficient, we get more workers into this country, we get more people paying taxes in this country efficiently, then we can build a wall with the money we've saved. But right now, I think first we need to fix the paperwork kind of aspect of becoming a legal citizen. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I still agree
yeah.
a wall would be important for stopping the heavy traffic areas, but right now I think we need to make it much more efficient and save money that way. That's just what I think.
What I want to say is this. I heard it a while ago, and God, it sounds so true. Back when Colorado made weed legal, what did that say to the other 49 states?
We can make...
No, not move to Colorado.
We can make weed legal?
Look, it's not that bad.
It said there's hope.
There's hope.
One day our state could be legal. anyone who's smoking pot in Miami is thinking, holy shit, one day I could do this on the streets instead of on my couch. Same thing applies.
No, I don't get what you're saying.
I don't get it.
I'm very confused.
Okay, then. Next topic.
Oh no, explain.
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 Well, I mean,
Oh, that's my train of thought.
the weed issue is more of like a states' right issue, more than like
That's
the weed
states'
issue
right.
itself.
Yeah, that's states' right.
So if we have people, jumping the border illegally.
Wait, illegally?
Illegally. Illegally.
Yes,
Not legally.
Right.
illegal.
Not legality.
The criminals.
Okay, got it.
Illegality.
Oh my god.
Well, no, if you think about it, if you're,
Wow. Okay. Never mind. So
no.
Okay.
Technically
Never mind.
speaking, no,
Check the
technically
mic. We're
speaking,
done.
Let him talk.
Technically
Podcast
speaking,
is over.
if you do something illegally, you have committed a crime.
Anyway, so when it was made legal in Colorado to smoke weed, it gave hope to all the other 49 states. What did? They didn't stop smoking because they thought if we stop, maybe they'll just let it slide. They smoked more. What happens when you put a wall up? Yeah, it's going to be a big-ass wall. Yeah, it's going to cost a lot of money. It's not going to be the finest quality, that's for sure, because look how big this wall is going to be. What does that do to everyone that wants to jump the border?
Deters them.
It makes them want to do it more.
No.
I don't know what to
no.
tell you.
Yes,
No.
it does.
What are you talking about?
Yes,
These are
yes,
two.
it
Like,
does.
I get what you're saying. I really understand what you're saying.
God, I hope so.
I get what
Otherwise,
you're
I'm on an island of my own
I
here.
100% get what you're saying.
Look, the
but I
4
don't think-
viewers that stuck around, they are not with me. I'm looking at the live comment feed.
Smoking weed is a states' right issue. That's 100% a states' right issue, and other states are like, oh, maybe we can do the same thing. We can have those states' rights too. You gotta be a dick. They're not U.S. citizens. It's not really our problem. Like, I understand that, but like, we gotta deter. Like, if they're coming over illegally, they gotta come through the proper ways. And I think a wall would pretty much deter them. Like,
Even actually, statistically, if you look at it, the idea of what Trump said of building a wall and putting a wall in some small places, illegal immigration did take a massive dip. It went down. It went down. Because also, I totally get the weed argument too, and giving them hope. However, that they don't have any like physical risk harm to themselves by smoking more weed. Yeah, they can get caught, but they're still it's gonna be a little lenient. If you're trying to jump a wall when there's a wall there, that's physically a lot more dangerous.
take away the hope thing I said. That was just to help you grasp the concept.
Okay.
When it was made legal in one state, they said it could be made legal in another.
yeah.
And so that made them smoke it more to celebrate. I'm just kidding. But that they kept smoking more. They didn't
Right.
stop.
Yeah.
But, if you made it legal in every state, it's not going to be fucking cool anymore. It's like when I told you about alcohol. When you're 21, yeah, it's cool at first. Drink your first draft or whatever. But after that, you're just like, yeah, so what?
Yeah.
You guys are both underage.
Right.
If I gave you a beer right now, you'd be like, oh, I'm the coolest shit around.
Yeah, it's like
It's that kind of feeling I'm talking about.
okay.
So with the wall, you put it up. I feel like you're encouraging more of, we're gonna get over this fucker. We're gonna get under this fucker. We're gonna go down through the South Pole, through the North Pole. We're gonna come down through Canada and get in that motherfucker. That's what I'm trying to say. I feel like it's encouraging the radicals. I'm not talking about like people that just want to get over it because it's a lot safer. I'm talking about like the crazy ass radical ones, the ones that will like put TNT around their belt if they had to. Those kind of people are the ones that I feel like look at that as a challenge. Challenge. That's the best word to use. I'm sorry. I should have said that from the start. Challenge. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, again, it's just how I feel, but it's like a challenge to them, I feel.
Okay. I feel like that's such a small minority, and the massive majority is just the not canvas, the caravans of families that want to get into a more peaceful, more stable, more economically friendly. What's up?
The one that was a couple years ago. How many were there? Fucking 10,000.
What, a few months ago?
There's been a couple.
I think it was like last year or something.
It was last year.
latest
It
one was like
was 5,000.
3 months ago, I
4,000.
think.
I'm talking about the one that was huge, and it was a big deal when Trump said that he would have gun him down at the border.
That was 5,000, 4,000, not
it?
10. It was a couple thousand.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was crazy. And you think you have to just realize they want to come to this country because of the safety, because we have a very stable system. And yeah, our government is still corrupt in areas, and it's not the perfect country. Obviously, we're not a perfect. No country's a perfect country, but we're just
It's a pretty
safe.
damn good one.
Canada. I mean,
We're a lot safer.
they got a leaf on their flag.
We're a lot safer than a lot of
Yeah.
countries around that. We have, very good areas to live, and we have a lot of jobs available. You could, compared to a lot of, and I hate to say South American countries, but the South American countries, be a lot safer here, and it's really, really enticing for people to come.
unfortunately, we just can't economically support that.
We can't. No, we can't.
Well, you know, the other problem, no matter what we talk about, there's someone that always agrees and disagrees. There's never that one thing where everyone agrees.
Right, never.
Like the death penalty.
Well, that's so.
Now, you see, that's like one of the most touchiest subjects out there. All three of us may agree or disagree with it.
I feel like we disagree.
But, okay, we'll get to that. I'm just trying to make a point. But if, like...
Fuck you.
But imagine if you were in your classroom tomorrow and everyone had to say yay or nay to it. Even if so many people said yay, there's always at least a few that say nay. Because they have a reason that they believe is factoring in. Now we can talk about that.
Death penalty?
Sure.
All right, we're here now. I'll let you guys go because I think you
said-
guys agree.
You said
Isn't that what you say you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Sorry, I zoned out as I was talking.
I'll let you guys go first because I feel like you two agree and I disagree.
I feel like we.
Okay. Whoa. Go ahead, Thomas.
I will say, because of I'm saying studies, but I'm not totally sure myself how confident. I just feel like comfort of families and things like that. And they say they regret it, all that, but also like cost wise and just I don't know. It's such a touchy subject. I say yes for the death penalty.
I thought we disagreed.
Because basically it's just the idea of if you do a crime so terrible, so heinous that you do, or how can I say that word wrong?
What?
An act so terrible that you either murder 10 people or do so many just terrible things, and you're basically sacrificing your humanity and yourself by doing this. Yeah, death penalty. I believe in it for those kinds of situations.
There was a time where I did disagree with it, but it was not until Osama bin Laden when I thought it was a good idea. Now, granted, they did kill him. They killed him.
Yeah, I know.
They brought his head on a silver platter to Barack. He's gone. Anyway, there was a time where I thought it was very inhumane and it shouldn't happen. But after Osama bin Laden, and then after seeing that documentary of that one guy, escaped from prison, I forget his name right now.
El Chapo.
No. It was a documentary on Netflix that came out. The guy that seduced a bunch of girls changed his appearance by his face. He starved himself in prison, climbed out. I forget his name.
It sounds like an anime I watched.
Do not know. What? What anime did you watch?
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, I forget the name of the guy. I know people listening know the name. But they gave him the chair because he escaped from prison so many times. He got back out on the street, kept doing criminal activity, never learned from his mistakes. In his mind, he was not right, and he was going to keep doing it until the day he died. Forcing his death, I think, should have been done because he did kill people along the way. That's when I started to think, yes, based on those specific reasons, at some point, you should be able to bring the death penalty in the chair, whatever means it is.
We could do lethal ejection now.
You could do that. Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah, we just do that now.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's too humane.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Talk
for 10 minutes. I'm going to check my feed.
Clearly, you're not going to get put down for like robbing a gas station or whatever. But in then accidental murders, I don't think you should get killed. But if you actively, premeditatively go out and take a life, your life is officially forfeit and you deserve to die.
That's the strong but true opinion. Yeah.
Like if you actively decide I'm going to go kill this motherfucker, and you do, then you officially have no right to be alive.
I agree with that.
It's the most hypocritical thing
That's
to say.
a very good way to say
It's the most hypocritical thing to say of he killed a person, so he doesn't realize the sanctity of life, and his life is still protected by law?
Yeah. I mean, if you get into a bar fight, hit someone the wrong way, they fall down, hit their head, that's manslaughter, right?
I bet that would be
Or like
manslaughter.
first-
or third degree, second degree. Or wait, which one's the worst?
I think first. Does it go like...
Is it third's the worst or first is the worst? I actually don't know. First degree is the worst.
I think first. Yeah,
First degree
so
is
I think
first
third
degree is
degree was
I think
good.
you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
If you commit first degree premeditative, I'm going to go kill this guy, kill somebody, then you have no reason to live. You have no right.
Yeah, but the only argument would be like, what was their mindset? What was their mental state at? That's the only argument that would come up probably. But I definitely agree with that. If you do take someone else's life, you are gone.
Purposefully.
It's fair.
Yeah,
the jury should be able to vote on that.
And it's a long process. It's not like that's a snap decision. Oh, it's a long process.
I know, that's the thing.
Well, the Boston Bomber's still alive. He has the death penalty, but they just haven't gotten to killing him yet.
People on death row for 20 years.
Yeah. It's like,
You just gotta
shit, I'm going to die one day, probably of old age. It's like, no, just take him out back.
If you just
Quarter him. Worse than quarter him.
I mean, yeah. For the worst criminals, I feel like lethal injection
you
is too
keep calling
easy.
that rebuttal, I mean, you're never gonna die until the good Lord takes you,
Well, it's just the legal
or in this case, Satan, depending on who you are.
Well, like, if you clearly, like, like, fucking Ted Bundy, take him out back, put a bullet in his head, call it a day. You know?
I think that's who I was trying to talk about, and you just said the name. Thank you, Ted Bundy.
He broke out of jail.
Oh, it's pissing me off. I couldn't think of the name.
Like, motherfucker killed a bunch of people. Like,
Thank you, Ted Bundy.
like, do you need, like, he killed a bunch of people. Take him out back, put him down.
That's what I was trying to talk about. Thank you for finally saying the name. I knew one of you knew it.
There was this, you guys know who George Carlin is?
Who?
George Carlin, he was a comedian.
No.
Any idea?
Maybe.
He's like an older comedian. He had this bit on the death penalty. He was like, why the fuck we killing gang members, man? Kill the fucking bankers that are laundering all the money. The gang members, they don't care to die, man. They're on the streets like, fucking come kill me, man. It's like, you kill the bankers laundering the money. No bankers want to die. You start crucifying bankers on Sunday night live television. The crime rate's going down. It's like, you do upside down crucifixions on fire to a bunch of bankers, and the crime rate starts plummeting.
That took a turn.
That was
Now, granted, that's not like,
That took a big
legitimate.
turn.
That's not going to be an argument that holds up in court, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah, but that's still a big turn you just made.
Next on Conan O'Brien, we're gonna murder a dude.
I mean, hey, dude, there's something there. Maybe not the whole upside down fire crucifixion, but like public execution. A lot of people to stop fucking up. You see someone get guillotined in the middle of Times Square, you're gonna stop robbing banks.
Public execution. Public execution is outlawed for years.
Yeah, but like, think about it. If you saw like in the Middle East, you like in certain countries, you rob someone, you get your hand cut off. That's a fact.
That is a fact.
Yeah. Like, you get your fucking hand cut off. I wouldn't even think about stealing anything,
No.
man. And I learned it's the left hand first. It's always the left hand first.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
This was a deep podcast.
What else do you want to say, Ryan?
Ah, there's a lot, man.
Yeah, if we had a meter here, we did the percentages of who talked the most, I think you got the majority.
This is like, can we talk about something like peaceful now?
You got the majority, he got the 20%, I got the 2%.
What time we got?
If we take away that first attempt at starting, an hour and 12 minutes.
That's nothing, man.
That's a good lang.
I'm sorry, Ryan. I know we went 2 hours. What else do you want to talk about?
Dude, I got like an endless supply of things I want to talk about, man.
Go for
Can
it.
something be peaceful or like nice
Go
or
for it.
anime?
Alright, peaceful and nice.
What do you want to talk about?
Anime's peaceful
But
and
the
nice.
floor is yours. By the way,
Am I running this shit now?
by the way, Ryan's got a podcast coming out soon called The Green Room. I'm not sure if that was in the first attempt or the second attempt
It was
of
in
this.
the first attempt. yeah.
Okay, Ryan's got a podcast coming out called The Green Room, probably in December, January, something like that.
Yeah, January 2020, sometime around then.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Fuck
Look
yeah.
forward to it. Just same shit, you know? Same shit I'm talking on here. Like,
Same shit, just not my voice.
yeah, like politics, fucking conspiracies, shit like that.
That's what you should bring up. Conspiracies.
Well, we
I
kind of touched.
know you
touched
got
on-
some.
We touched on it earlier.
Really?
That was like the first thing you and I talked about the first day we knew each other.
Yeah.
Remember on the boat we were talking about one?
Dude, we talked about a lot of shit, but
We talked about a conspiracy on
was
the
it the
Clipper.
moon?
No, it wasn't the moon.
Oh, the moon.
we gonna
We
talk
landed
about
on the
the
moon.
We talked about it and RJ was with
Well,
us, but
when?
I don't think he knew what to say.
69, whatever, 68, whatever
You
year
think
it
we
was.
landed on 69?
Oh,
Yes,
you're talking about
of course
when
we
they
did.
landed on the moon.
Yeah. You think we landed on 69?
We did not fake it back then. Of course we did.
No, we didn't talk about that one. We talked about
Of course we did.
How do you know?
Shit, what did we talk about?
Ryan, you shut up right now. Yes, we
No,
landed
no,
on the
I
moon.
do believe we landed on the moon, but there's an argument there.
There was no argument
You know,
there.
I see both sides of that argument.
I get it.
I know what they're saying on
I
both
get it.
ends, but another part of me is like, now it's difficult to choose a side.
Oh my god, so many facts and scientists prove that we landed there.
Listen, it's just the amount of people you'd have to
I
have
want the
in on it.
telescope.
Like all of NASA. like
I want the
thousands of
telescope.
employees.
I want the telescope that's like can process where the flag is and just keep following it. And every time it makes a rotation, it can keep following it.
Well, the flag's white now, so it doesn't like matter.
Is it?
It's been bleached by like sun's radiation.
Isn't that a theory though? Do we have like
Is it?
pictures of it? I thought it was like.
Is it really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a thing.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, the flag's
It's,
totally white now.
I want to see a metal pole somewhere on
That's
the
pretty much
moon
what it is, yeah.
with
It's-
this white flag.
it's
I don't
just
see
like-
it.
it's just
Now,
like
is that proven? Like, did we take pictures of it? Because I knew there was like a theory, like it should be bleached white by now.
I don't know if there's pictures, but yeah, the theory is it should be bleached
Yeah.
white by now. It should be white.
I mean, I get that, dude. You leave, like, even like hang out a flag out like outside the sun, like you get
Just
it a couple
discolor.
years later, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So imagine like with no atmosphere protecting it, just
Yeah.
in the moon.
Well, who was it? Wasn't it Buzz Aldrin
Yeah.
that Alderaan Neil Armstrong got off?
Was Aldrin?
Buzz Aldrin? Yeah.
Armstrong was the first guy.
Yeah, Armstrong was.
Touchdown.
Supposed.
Yeah.
Who
set up the camera, man?
I'm forgetting a lot of names. Who
There was no what?
There's film. There's a video footage of
It was
them
a
on
part
the
of the lander. Oh my god.
who was left on the spaceship and it made the rotation around?
I don't know enough about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
They don't talk about, and they don't.
He
they
was
only,
interviewed. I forget his name.
They-
Fuck.
they
He was
only
interviewed.
talk-
They asked him, what was it like when you made like those few minutes around the moon by yourself?
That'd be pretty.
Because he was on the dark side of the moon. And he said he thought he saw a UFO.
He probably just went insane for a minute there.
Oh shit, there's no training for that. Imagine, you're on the dark side of the moon making this rotation. You don't know what the fuck's going on.
No, I'd be beyond. I'm
You
like
can't
scared
see
thinking
shit.
about it.
That'd be kind of
The moon.
peaceful, man.
You can't see the moon.
I'm like scared thinking about that.
Dude, at that
That's
point,
scary
at
as
that
hell.
point, you just exist.
You're just there and you're just like, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3
Like,
Mississippi.
like,
Depends on the mindset going into it, man. I
Like,
feel like that would be
I'd be like
amazing.
begging like Houston Nasty to like talk me through it because like I'd be terrified.
Seriously.
I was scared of the dark till I was like 14.
Can it
I
be too
think-
different from like sensory deprivation? I guess like the mentality, because like you know you're in a tank of water.
Yeah.
You're on the other side and there's nothing on this side that can help you if something goes wrong.
And you know, yeah, if one little microchip in this massive lander like just shits the bed, you die. You go into space and the people die on the moon.
Well, I think he was close enough to gravitation that he was still going to make the orbit.
But like still,
I
like,
think that's what happened.
like Apollo 13 too. That's like crazy lucky how they lived.
The whole thing is crazy, which is why the conspiracy of that it was a staged thing when they had the live feed from
Well, there's
CBS.
motive.
Well, you know, my dad told me one
What
time.
motive? What
my
motive?
dad
Like
told
the
me.
space race. They wanted to beat Russia.
Oh yeah, but we still did it. We beat
My
it.
mom and dad told me that when they were both in elementary school, the teachers did wheel in the carts with the TVs and they watched.
Yep. Same with my dad.
But if you go to YouTube and you try and look this up,
It's on there.
you're gonna have a hard time believing it.
Why? What?
It doesn't look right. They see, I tried to ask my parents about this a long time ago. How did it look when you watched it? And like they were, my dad was 8, my mom was like 5.
That's what my parents were. Yeah.
So they don't remember it. But if you and I look at it, we've seen a lot of film shit. We've made a lot of shit. We know what looks real and what really looks kind of staged.
But also, you have to realize
sketchy to me is
you-
the flag.
if you look at the power of the spacecraft and the machine at takeoff and things like that, if it looks kind of iffy, yeah, it can look kind of iffy because it's unprecedented in human history that's happening, though.
Another thing is, I don't believe that they could get a live feed from the moon to Earth in 69?
Yeah.
1969.
69, 68, something
And
like
it
that.
was such great quality. I'm sorry. I gotta toss a flag up.
Listen, I don't put it past the government to fake it. I don't put it past them at all. There was Russia beef. They wanted to beat Russia to the moon.
I feel like it was staged. Now, I believe they landed on the
Oh, we've been to the moon. That's
They've
a
been
fact.
to the moon. I don't think they had the technology to film it and have a live feed go back. Even if it was on a delay, that was too good quality. They did not know what they were doing then. You can't even get a live feed from New York to hear that great.
Yeah, connections
they
sometimes. If I'm like in the fucking basement or whatever, it's like fuck, I don't have bars.
But fucking
Yeah,
Polaroids here are making like 4K film that's going back in 1969.
Yeah.
And I agree with what you said about the flag.
Mhm.
I think if you look closely or you put a filter on, you might see some like fish lines somewhere. Because the bottom going into the ground, that looks good, but the top corner of the flag going up, that doesn't look natural.
Well, like there's less.
Even with gravity, it's just straight.
There's less gravity,
of
but
course it
there
doesn't
is
look natural.
still gravity.
It's
But
space.
But with gravity, you'd still see kind of like move a little bit because it's going up. But with that flag, it's just there.
I think it would.
It's not
It would.
moving.
It would
There's
definitely
no
droop
waves
down.
in it.
It would definitely droop down.
No, it would
I
float.
think so because there's still gravity.
Regardless, it would not be like this here on the wall.
Rigid.
It's nice and straight.
But
That's what it looked like.
Also, have we? Is it like a real flag?
The American flag they put in.
Yeah. Is it like
the one
actually-
on the TV feed?
Is it a cloth flag or was it a plastic kind of flag?
I'm assuming it's like this, probably like
See?
3 layers
But
thick.
No, because it moves.
Does it?
It's a flag.
It's been a while since I've
it
seen
could be, it
this.
could be like a pliable
But-
material. It could be some kind of material we don't know about.
But it doesn't look like natural movement to be in 0 gravity.
We just don't know.
It just doesn't look right.
I agree.
That's what I'm wondering.
Mhm.
And then the live feed thing, I don't know how the hell they could pull that off.
I mean, we've definitely been to the moon.
When
At
it-
some
when it
We
was
point
have
in
left
time.
the retro reflectors in there called on the moon to bounce a laser off them. They are facts. It is factual. We are on the moon.
When it was going on, they may have had something pre-filmed that they said was live because they did that so much back in the 50s and 60s.
That they could have done. That's realistically.
60s were a shady time.
That's what they could have done. They could have already been on the moon for 3 hours by that point, and then sent back 3 hours of footage. They absolutely could have done that.
I don't know
But
if they had the technology.
But I
for
still
that.
believe they were on the moon in 1969. I still believe that they were on the
If
moon.
I can't send you a video, if I was in California and you were here, if I can't send you a 5-minute video without having to upload to my Google Drive, I don't think they could send a live feed from the moon to Earth.
But they weren't like. That was an entire government's resources going into it, though.
They didn't have what we have now.
I know, but still, it was a fucking government's worth of resources.
What if there's
to pull it off.
like a secret, like 5 people, including the astronauts, that knew what was going on? Everyone else involved thought they were actually going to the moon.
When did we get the first satellite orbiting Earth?
I don't know.
What was that?
Well, the first one was Sputnik with Russia.
Was a Tesla orbiting Earth?
I know that one.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
it's awesome.
I mean, yeah, we're polluting the outside of the Earth, but whatever.
Fucking dude.
Isn't there like an inflatable guy or something in the Tesla?
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm
Elon
so-
Musk is a
That-
fucking
that's
G, man.
it'll be a shame when he's bleached out like the flag, but that's cool.
Did you know the Tesla dances?
What? The car itself?
Yeah.
What do you mean it dances?
Elon Musk is such an evil fucking genius. He designed his cars to dance.
Oh,
If
like a
you-
transformer?
No, like it just does a little dance.
Like the wheels, like.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like it gets up.
My car too. I'll just turn the wheel really hard.
You have to like put in like it's kind of like an Easter egg of the car. Elon Musk was talking about it. It fucking dances, man. You can look up videos.
Really?
That's hilarious.
Wow.
Did you ever hear him talk about AI?
No, not really.
Dude. So basically, no one fucking listens to like the smartest man on earth, Elon Musk. He's gone to like this like Congress. He's talked to like panels of people. He's like, guys, quit fucking with the AI, because one day if you keep fucking with it, we're not going to be in control anymore. That may be good, that may be bad, but we will have no control on what goes down anymore. And no one fucking listens. It's like, dude, Elon Musk is telling you that this world-ending technology is like within our grasp, in our lifetime, that you guys continue to fuck with it. Just stop.
Which is the one, like the Sophia the robot? Which is the robot?
That's what I was thinking of.
That one, she has citizenship now. What country is it? I don't know what country it is.
I don't know.
It's nowhere near us.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I think it's
Other
Middle East
side
or
of the
something.
world, I
Yeah,
think.
she has full rights of a citizen in her country.
Yeah.
I'm saying her like she's a person. She's a robot. She's not she.
Yeah.
It's it.
Yeah, I agree with you. They're screwing around too much with that stuff.
Fucking with shit's beyond us.
It's getting to the point where you're just like, what the hell are you doing?
Well, this like the smartest minds in the world are saying, stop fucking with, like, it's right out of a movie, man. You have this group of scientists saying, hey guys, you're fucking with shit you should be fucking with. You're gonna doom us all. And they're like, yeah, but money, man. It's like, fuck your money, we're gonna be dead. Like, you're
Yeah.
going to kill us all.
Yeah.
He's planning to do some weird shit. He's planning to put chips in our heads to where we...
Wait, who's he? Who still
Elon
Elon?
Musk.
Okay.
I listened to, like...
Man's making moves.
Joe Rogan's podcast. I mean, watch it. All your viewers or whatever, listen to him talk about it. He said, because Joe asked him, it's like, so what is the end goal? And he's like, we want to blur the line between technology and ourselves.
Oh, the singularity.
I don't know.
That's what it's called. When basically technology in a human becomes unrecognizable from the human body itself. I think that's called the singularity. That's like where we basically reach a prosthetic no longer look like a prosthetic limb. where you can put a skin graft over it, have it such nerve-based control that it looks like a hand. That's the singularity. We basically become one with technology.
What he's saying... What he said, his words, I'm going to try to say it like he said. Well, obviously he explained it better. When you look at your phone, there's just this wide, like, line. Like, this wide, like, field of vision that you get there. He is trying to make it so that this wide view gets thinned out into, like, a hair strain. So you just get mind, phone, basically one thing. So eventually you just have something in your chip and you just instantaneously have, like, the same knowledge your phone does.
The same knowledge?
Like, basically, you were able to access your phone in milliseconds.
So I can just be, like, talking here, and we're talking about, like, Ted Bundy. Like, oh, what was his name? I can just go into my, like, the back of my chip and just go, oh, it's Ted Bundy.
It's not going to take you that long.
That'd be crazy.
And what
Like,
he
who am I
said...
talking about? Like, Ted Bundy. Anyone knows that.
Would it recognize our
life.
thoughts? Like, basically, like, as soon as I start to question who that is, would it put that memory into my mind to remember? Would it mess with memory?
It would be Googled in your mind. You'd have the answer.
I wouldn't want it to mess with my memory, though.
I would be worried with it fucking with your conscience.
Yeah.
Like...
it's going to turn you into a human potato.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, you'd have no reason to think anymore.
Well, because you can send shock waves to the brain, and it can make your brain do whatever a certain
Also,
shock
humanity
wave
would
does.
become dumb because we'd have no more reason to learn if all of our knowledge is in a chip behind our brain.
That's the claim.
It's like WALL-E.
We'll be at Mars by the time the chip figures out how we don't have to breathe oxygen anymore.
It's like the
I
movie.
don't think we could biologically evolve.
But
the chip could make it happen.
Well,
You'd have to figure out how to transfer consciousness, and I feel like that's impossible.
At the point...
that's some anime stuff right there. Transfer like
Well,
a
you're gonna
robot
get,
or whatever.
well, if you get AIs involved and you have these microchips and heads and everything, someone's going to have a Da Vinci moment and make this thing happen.
That's true.
True. It's true.
But then that comes down to where do you believe, like, where is your consciousness? Like, do you believe that's your soul, or
Just the little
that question is
just the
all
electricity in your
spirituality.
brain. What's your consciousness? Is it your soul, your heart, or is it the little currents in your brain?
The second we define scientifically what consciousness is, that throws all religion and spirituality out the window, I feel. Because, yeah, you could say, oh, it's the brainwaves or whatever, but, like, everyone knows if you look at yourself and you realize and you really think about what your consciousness is, you know it's not just fucking, like, signal speed shot around.
No, it's yeah.
It's so much more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, brainwashing is a real thing.
Yeah.
It's a very real thing.
The brain is
Like
very
hypnosis
easily
and
tricked.
shit.
You may, because you know how people are when they say, "Oh, I agree to this," and then you can go on Facebook. If you say "I agree," you may be agreeing to getting brainwashed. This chip gets put in your head. Who knows who the hell's in control of you? Yeah. You may not even be you. You may actually die.
Dude, I could be under control right now. There could be a chip in my head right now, but I wouldn't register it or know about it because the brain makes it seem like it's normal.
I think what would
That's
happen...
the thing. The human brain is so like complex and creative in the way it makes us process like pain and things like that. Like I read an article. I don't know if it's true. Like our internal organs, like digestive, is actually unbelievably painful. Like the ass is like it should be painful because you have nerve endings in there. It should be painful, but because we wouldn't be able to live like that, our brain just says no, it's not painful. Shut up, and it's not painful. And our brain is also so easily tricked because there's so much information to take in. Literally, just me like looking at YouTube guys. There's more information like a computer can handle right now because of like detail and building and everything like that, and you know, so the brain has to take shortcuts and be and that's why the brain can be tricked by magicians and mentalists because they just hit those shortcuts, those little tiny tricks we use. They just break them.
Well, since AI is starting to react to things, it makes me start to believe that, you know, right now, yeah, I may not be able to keep up with your eyes and your brain looking at two people, but I feel at a certain point, you know, you were talking about earlier how iPhones, they started to progress after the first one was made, and the iPhone 11 got announced last week. It's got 3 camera lenses on the front, for God's sakes. It just gets faster and faster, and to some people, better and better. And I feel at a certain point, those chips that they keep putting in, they're going to pull that one out, put the new one in, that, hey, guess what? You can look at both of them with your brain in your eyes, but guess what this chip does? It can see behind you also.
I mean, there's a whole...
At the same time.
There's a whole spectrum of colors we can't see.
Yeah.
Right in front of us. There's right in front of us, scientifically theorized, there is another dimension right here, the fourth dimension that we can't see.
There's shit going on around us right now.
Like there is a whole other
I'm
fucking
punching
dimension
somebody
right
now.
So, like the thing that we were talking about with the brain, people claim the brain is like it's so smart. It's like it's wired to survive and all this other shit. If the brain's only like function was to protect the body, function, do the organs and stuff, survive, and to be the smartest thing, why does it question itself? Like, why do I have the ability to question my consciousness and where I came from? If the brain was as smart and as focused on survival as science says it is, why would it question itself? You know?
I think,
like, how can I consciously question where I'm coming from if the brain's running the operation? Why would the brain question itself, you know?
I think it's become now because we can question ourselves because we have the luxury to question ourselves. In like olden days of when we were sort of like the hunter-gatherer, before we even became an agricultural type society, we were the hunter-gatherer type society, we didn't have time or power to question our brain. Like, people were literally just like, hungry, hunt, go, hunt, eat. That was it. That was our whole process. Like, there was no scientific development yet until we could comfortably like eat. But now in our modern day, we always have food available. We always have water available. You know, I'm hoping people always have food, water available. You know, nice beds to sleep in. You know,
Michigan.
We finally have the like luxury to question ourselves, and that's what's caused like people say like depression has been like so recent, like spiked and everything like that. It's like, no, it's because we finally have the luxury to question our brain and be like, what the fuck is up?
No,
with
it's been here. We
ourselves?
just haven't realized it.
We haven't realized it. We haven't had the time or the luxury.
The thing is, yeah, we definitely have more time to talk about this stuff, and that's where, like, you know, the Greek philosophers came in because they had like a thriving civilization. They could like acquire math and shit.
Yep.
But why does the brain, if the brain operates everything, and that's where like our consciousness and intelligence resides, why can our own brain, if it runs everything, question itself? Why does it have the ability, and why would it question where its consciousness is being developed?
Maybe that's where the soul comes in.
Yeah.
Of the brain is one thing and the soul is something
Exactly.
different. It's tough to say. It's
That's
hard to
why
say.
I don't believe like the consciousness resides in the brain. The brain's function is simply to run the body, and then the spirit of the consciousness resides elsewhere in the body.
Not to knock this off topic, but you're talking about the fourth dimension.
Yeah.
Have either of you heard the theory about how ghosts are the bridge between our dimension and the next dimension?
Ghosts?
Vaguely.
Not
Do you believe in
no,
ghosts?
I do not.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Do I believe in ghosts? No.
Yes.
I do not believe in ghosts.
Yes, I do.
I do not.
I've seen too many paranormal activity movies,
I've just had
videos.
some fucked up personal experiences.
Have you? I was told a story back when I was in middle school. He was my history teacher. He told the story how they were working on a school that's relatively close to where I live in Fredericks called Banner Elementary. Banner School. That's what it's called. You can look this up probably. It's still haunted to this day, apparently. But what happened was when they were building the school, there were two guys. One went up on the scaffolding, and it was the kind where you can pull the rope and the whole thing lifts up, like the whole platform lifts up. So he was pulled up, and I think he was like putting in windows or something like that. But there, in construction, there's this big chute, and you toss all the trash in. It leads right into the dumpster. So he was up there doing something, and he was, I don't know what you do to put windows in, to be honest. You put like the stuff on the
Caulking or whatever.
caulk gun.
Yeah.
You use the caulk gun, you put it on like the edge, and I think he was getting to the point he was about to put the window in and just place it in. As he goes to turn and he goes to put it in, he sees something that scares the shit out of him that was not human.
Yeah.
And he falls down the chute, and he had all these tools in his hands. What the teacher said was when that happens, you toss it away as soon as you know where you're going to land. It's a better chance of living, not landing on sharp items.
You're not thinking, man.
He landed right on them.
Yeah.
Dead. His eyes were wide open, that kind of face, like he saw some shit.
Yeah.
The claim now is that attic, like that's where the window was being put in, that attic is still haunted to this day. If you slept in there, you'd hear stuff, you'd feel like someone blowing on you or like flick your ear or whatever.
Yeah. Well,
I've always believed it ever since that story.
Okay.
I lived in a house that I swear by 100% was haunted, bro.
All right, bruh, tell me about it.
Bruh.
Talk to the witch doctor.
I didn't 100% believe it. I just thought I was a little crazy. But basically, if I was in the shower, and to come into the bathroom was this little step. So like you'd come in, you'd hear like a little thud, someone coming into the bathroom. So like I'm getting a shower, I'd hear the thud. I'd be like, "Hey, who came in? Look out, no one's there." That would happen like 4 or 5 times, like in the shower, like people walking in. it was just real fucking eerie being in the house. And anytime you're upstairs, but it's just really unnerving. The one time the whole family was sitting in the living room, the clock just comes flying off the fucking wall.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Really?
And we never
Did you
touched.
see that?
Yeah.
Did you
Like
really?
like
Yes.
flying off the. What do you mean
You
flying?
like firsthand saw the thing go off.
Like
the
it
wall.
just fell off the wall, or
Yeah, so it was.
Oh.
It's basically here.
Mhm.
Motherfucker was
Really?
off the wall. It didn't fall down. Oh shit!
oh my god!
Don't you ever hit that light switch ever again as you're telling that story.
Oh, you need video so bad for that.
He hit the light switch as he was telling the story.
As he's saying he's haunted, he turns off the lights.
And
and
it's
he
still
just
lights
went-
outside. It's pitch dark in here.
But it comes like off the wall. It didn't fall down. It fell out. And the one night, scariest night of my life, I'm in my bedroom, and I feel really uncomfortable. So I'm like, I gotta get out of here. I leave. I'm standing in the hallway. So like, my room and my parents' room is adjacent, right across the hall from each other. And I'm in the hallway, and I hear for where my brother is sleeping, call my name, and I'm like, what? And then no answer. Then I hear someone else call my name from the room, but a different location. And then now two people calling my name at the same time. And then I'm just getting bombarded by people yelling my name. And I'm screaming for my mother. And she comes around, she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, do you not hear this? And she's like, no, whatever, then it's whatever. And then the one day, me and my brother and my cousin are up in my bedroom, and I have a dog. He comes up. He's like the friendliest fucking dog. He's the nicest dude. He comes up, lips back, snarling. Looks like a rabid, like,
What the fuck?
beast. Just barking, growling at my fucking closet. Just head to the wall at the door, fucking growling at the closet. And it's like, oh, we got the fuck out of there. And then we
You didn't open the closet?
Huh?
You didn't open the closet?
Fuck no, dude. This ain't a fucking movie.
You asked the question I was about to
This ain't a
ask.
fucking movie, bro. I'm not fucking with that. It's like, fuck
He
this,
opens it and
man.
then his hands come out, pull him in.
This ain't no fucking movie. I'm out of there, man.
Oh, shit, that's funny.
But no one talked about it. I never talked about it to anyone in my family. Like, no one talked about it until we're living in our new house. We're all sitting down, like, in the living room watching TV. My whole family, my parents, my two brothers, and we're watching a scary movie or something. And my mom's like, "I definitely believe in ghosts. The house was haunted." And then she starts telling her experiences. Same fucking thing. People walking in the bathroom, having this uneasy feeling, the animals being weird, seeing shit out of the corner of our eyes, hearing shit. And then my brother was like, yeah, same thing. And my other brother's like, I experienced the same thing. And I'm sitting here like, holy shit, I'm not crazy. Everyone experienced the same thing. And we had never talked about it before until this very moment.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And I was like, fuck, dude.
That's crazy.
Damn. That's all I can say.
It was fucked up, man.
I do not believe in ghosts. Even after hearing, I still do not believe in ghosts.
You see, I used to think the house that I lived in with my family was haunted. Now, it's a bit of an older house. My parents bought it, I think it was already it's already been there for like maybe 12 years, something like that. It was an old house. You walk on the steps, very creaky and whatnot. But at a certain point in time, after I moved downstairs, this was right when I started community college. No one is home. When people walk upstairs, you can hear creaks. No one's home. You hear creaks. And you hear footsteps.
Houses make noises though, dude. Like houses
But
just
you
make
know.
noises.
Yes,
know.
but you know a footstep from just a random sound.
You know.
You know what I'm
That's-
talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly
yeah,
what
I
you're
know.
talking about.
But it's moving. You can follow it like someone's home. I'm looking out the window, no cars in the driveway but mine. I'm thinking, who the hell is here? I go to sleep that night. Someone's like blowing into my ear.
It's crazy.
Do you ever have Superman, you have like that spaz out moment? I hate that so much. And every time that happens, I always say it's a ghost.
Yeah.
Because you always just feel like this light, gentle blow in your ear. And it freaked the shit out of me. And it feels so real. One time I also felt like a hand like put on the bottom of my foot when I was sleeping.
Fuck that, dude.
Like that
I was never touched.
Good.
I'm the connection between this dimension and the
Yeah.
next. That kind of shit though. I
Well,
definitely believe in ghosts because of
my
that.
brother, both my brothers, they used to have the worst night terrors when we lived in that house. Second we moved out, never happened again. Never happened again. Like the night we moved out, never happened again.
You know,
That's crazy.
I believe, and I don't know if there's like a theory about this, but I personally believe that where you die is where, if you didn't live a good life, you don't go to heaven, that's where your soul remains. So, did someone die in my house? Maybe. That's why I feel like it might be haunted.
Even just that plot of land. It doesn't have to be like the physical walls.
If you die in a specific area, I feel like your soul is trapped there, and you're ridded to haunt that area for the rest of your life.
I don't really have like an explanation or like a theory as to
That's
why.
the best I
it's
could
just,
get.
Yeah, it's just very confident because like just the shit that went down, man.
And you know, stuff in horror movies that you see, it's nowhere close.
It's not like it.
It's nowhere close to the shit.
Like there's no danger. You think so? Not like in the movies.
I don't know if the story I said about the school was true with the windows. I don't know if that one's true.
Yeah.
But I have been in that school, and you do hear stuff in the attic when it's barred locked.
You get the feeling.
Yeah, you know when shit's sour.
Shit just ain't right.
When shit has gone sour, if you've experienced that, you know.
Okay, I haven't said anything like this whole time because I don't believe in ghosts. It's like I just like go on it. I still don't believe in ghosts just because I've always been like a very doubtful kind of a kid, and I would always talk to myself in my head way too much as a kid. Like it was weird. I'd like talk to myself a lot, like way too much, and I would always just like if something would happen, I would instantly get like an explanation in my head for something. And my house, it was old. It was built in like 1912 or 1905, so it's old. And the original owner had his viewing in the house, so their dead body all in the house. It was crazy, and it was creepy, and it was old, so it made a lot of noises. So my bedroom is right next to the main staircase from the living area, all the bedrooms and the bathroom, to the downstairs, to the foyer, the living room, the kitchen. And so I would always hear footsteps, and I knew everybody's footsteps. I never heard, like, creepy footsteps. Never did. I would also, like, hear squeaks, and my TV would just go, like just noises through the night. I never once thought it was a ghost. I was like, oh, it just makes a noise. Except for there was one time I was sitting in my room, and we had all the doors were open in the rooms for no reason. I was home alone. I was probably 8. My dad went to the store real quick, and suddenly, literally, there was probably 6 rooms upstairs. Every single door slammed shut as hard as you can physically close a door. Like take a door, slam it hard as close as hard as you can. 6 doors simultaneously within like a snap. Every single one shut like that. I started like crying.
Fuck that, dude.
Because I was like I couldn't get an explanation. I was just like sitting in my room. I was just like.
Dad put the house on the market.
I was like
100% of that.
I was so scared, and my dad came home and I went crying into his arms. He was like, "What's going on, buddy?" And I told him, and like, this is why I don't believe in ghosts, because my dad, as cool as can be, just went, "Oh, it was just the wind." And he literally went upstairs and he told me, he said, "Watch this," and he opened 2 of the doors. And he went out and he said, "Just wait for the wind to blow by. Listen for the wind." And I listened and I heard a tree rustle, wind blow by, the door slammed closed at the same time again. It was just, my house had the windows in a certain way that the wind would come through and slam the door shut. And then we did it again, same exact thing.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, oh, there's an explanation for everything. Ghosts aren't real. Our brains are playing tricks on us. Also, if you, like, know in your heart, like, you knew your house was haunted.
Yeah.
You believed your house was haunted. You're going to hear shit.
Yeah.
You're absolutely going to hear shit.
I get that.
Yeah. Like, you know you heard someone upstairs maybe once. You know you're going to hear it again. If I think to myself, I know for a fact there aren't ghosts, I don't hear anything, everything can be explained, I just don't hear the shit.
Yeah. I do think maybe how do I word this? I had some type of like paranoia either developed there or just had it.
Okay.
Because 2 instances in my life the same thing happened. One time I lived there, I was super young, I want to say maybe 5, 8, I don't know. I hear like a dripping coming from a sink, like a very faint, just like drip, drip. And the first thing's very explainable. I look out and like my dad's coat, his suit coat's hanging there. I'm like, oh shit, there's a person there. There's a coat. I'm a kid, you know, see shit. Okay. But then I hear like an RC airplane, like flying around the room. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I scream for my mom. She comes in. I'm like, do you hear that? It doesn't go away. It's still there. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I have no idea. And then I'm like, okay. It eventually, so she lays down in bed with me. Like, whatever. I calm down. It goes away. But the dripping remained. And I'm like, okay, the faucet's dripping. That's the logical explanation. I'm like, can you please go turn the faucet off? It's driving me crazy. It was not dripping at all.
Ooh, okay.
That happened 2 years ago in the house I live in now, or like I used to live in before I moved to college. It's late at night, and I hear the fucking dripping.
No.
And I hear the fucking dripping, and I'm like, okay, it's late at night. I'm a little paranoid because like it's dark. Okay, so I lay down in my bed, and I hear this fucking can roll across the room. There was like I don't recall having a can on the room, and I'm like, okay, what the fuck was that? And then I hear what I can only describe as like a horse breathing out, just this really loud fucking. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I whip the light on, and I mean, clearly there's nothing there. Like, and I'm like, okay, that was fucking weird. Both instances started with a dripping sound. And I mean, like, I use those two instances, like, as inspiration. I feel like if I ever write a story or whatever, like, you know, we're film majors. We gotta think about that stuff. I feel like I'd make a story about, like, that.
The noise of the drip.
Yeah.
Like a murder mystery.
Yeah, something like that. Or, like, I think what the plot twist would be, this is on the internet. You can't take this. This is mine. All you listeners.
You signed a contract. Anything you say is mine.
Fair enough.
No, I'm kidding. It's okay. It's under the Scotty Co name. It's yours. Go for it.
Cool. Basically, it'd be like a...
Scotty Co is protected by... No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Advertised by Kellogg's.
What's the twist?
Basically,
This advertisement break is brought to you by Scotty Co, reminding you to dream big and create bigger. Scotty
and
Co.
that's all the time we have for this podcast today. You have to turn in next time to hear the rest of the story. No, but
What's the twist?
I'm gonna start as like the kid, and I feel like the beginning.
Have you ever
part-
had Wheaties? Wheaties, a healthy breakfast. Wheaties.
Often.
Find them in your local grocery store.
Often.
Sorry about that. The ad break just played randomly. I didn't know that happened. You were saying?
It's all right. But before we get to that, before we get to the story, have you guys ever had the sweet, delicious taste of Mountain Dew Baja Blast?
Oh my
exclusively
God.
at Taco Bell's near you and some Targets.
Go
and
grab a
Walmarts?
can and open it right next to the microphone. I'll drink it.
Jesus Christ.
You know, get two. I know you're going to have one.
Jesus Christ. I'm
I'll
sorry.
open it with you.
You know, you 10 listeners that actually, like,
Okay,
maybe made
so
it this
you do
far.
it on this side?
You know
of-
you
of
didn't
the-
actually make it this far.
Of the
You
ridge
skipped
right here?
ahead.
I'll do it on this
I know
side.
you did.
All right, 3,
I'm sorry.
2, 1. Oh, oh, go ahead. Baja Blast for those who like to win. Right?
Oh my God.
Drink Baja Blast.
For the love
Ryan,
of
go ahead. That was so
Ryan,
cool.
Tell your story so I can kill
I can't wait to
Scotty.
have you on
I
podcast.
think my headphones are on backwards.
Oh my God.
Not sponsored by Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
Not sponsored by anyone. No one would sponsor this.
Hashtag not a sponsor.
Hashtag no sponsors. Go ahead, Ryan.
You got to keep the listeners waiting, man. Anyway,
We kept him waiting for a solid 2 minutes.
that's all right. It's gonna start with the kid being really young in his house in like his in his childhood home. First off, the movie's called Drip. All right.
Okay.
Creative.
Okay, go.
The movie's called Water.
Yeah. Fucking water. It's
called Baja
H2O
Blast.
no.
H2. Oh no, coming to a theater near you.
Oh no! Oh no!
Ryan,
oh
well-
no!
For the love of God.
This is still an ad. It's a Kool-Aid ad. We're not back yet.
You're so stupid. This isn't a podcast anymore.
This is a podcast. They never put this shit on radio.
No, sir. All right. Story time.
Is it?
Childhood home. It starts with like the same recounting as like, you know, what I remember as a kid, and he goes through that whatever. It's like a thriller. I'm gonna set up a lot of jump scares that never happen because like there's not really a monster. It's just in his head. And then I'm obviously gonna have to dramatize and make shit up because it's only happened to me twice. But
Maybe
at
like
the end,
30 times.
Yeah.
What?
But at the
Do you have pink eye?
And I just rubbed my eyes.
Oh, okay. I did pink eye.
but at the end of the movie, it turns out.
Do you have pink eye? Go to your local doctor. No, I seriously thought you did though.
I just rubbed my eyes.
At the end of the movie, it turns out it's all in his head, and the entire thing happens at a psych ward.
You know what?
Like the whole story's recounted at like a psych ward.
We know
because
there's a
it turns
movie
out-
like that.
I'm sure there's a lot.
But then you should zoom in to the faucet and then have like a monster hand turn it off.
I sound like a complete
Like a
dick
claw,
for saying
like-
that too. What I meant was, there's a movie like
No, I
that
got you.
from last year. It was all shot on iPhone. I forget the name of the movie. Really good.
Yeah.
What's her face from? I can't remember a damn thing today, can I?
No.
The girl who was in
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, Charlie Sheen.
That's a girl?
Yeah. As if you want him to be.
I'm
You
gonna
can
look
be
it
anything
up.
now.
I'm gonna look it up.
Is that touchy?
Movie.
I just, oh my god. No, we're not talking about that.
Is
Not
that too
getting-
touchy?
Not getting into that. No, 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 no,
Here we go.
no. No, 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 no.
It's a joke, you snowflakes.
Oh my god.
It's
I am sorry for everyone.
It's.
Did you hear me place down my Mountain Dew Baja Blast?
Unsane.
Unsane.
It was all filmed on an iPhone
Unsane.
and a selfie stick as a tripod. Really good.
What was it about?
Same thing he just
Yeah.
said. Some jump scares that never happened, but
Yeah.
it happened.
Yeah.
Really good storyline.
Wait, the jump scares did happen?
There were a few.
Okay.
I mean, there's gotta be some. Yeah.
The girl, I forget how she gets into the mental ward, but something happened. She ran in there. They thought she was crazy. They thought she was a patient that escaped. Now she's being held there because they just want to drain her social security money.
Kind of a dick move.
Yeah.
That's how. Well, the idea of the movie was that's how psych wards actually do that
Yeah.
stuff. Even though you can go and say I'm not crazy anymore, and they go through the test, they're always going to say you're still crazy.
Yeah.
Because we're still going to take your money. That was the message of the movie. Really good though. It's all
Yeah.
shot on iPhone. It's tough to tell, but really well done.
Well, fuck. What, iPhone's shooting 4K now or something?
You're Pixel.
On Pixel 2, yeah.
You're Pixel. I'm Pixel. You're
I'm just some shitty phone that was cheap because I broke my other one. It's like an LG K7 or something.
Oh god.
Did you ever have an iPhone?
No. I think
Did
that's
you ever
pointless.
I had an iPhone 4S.
Hey, me too. Those things were terrible.
It was a garbage brick. It was a terrible brick.
You had to delete like all your photos, 2 videos, and
Yep.
8 apps to take one
It
photo.
came in like a bright neon green and gray like OtterBox, and I never took it out. So it was just like a brick.
Did you have the 8 gig phone or the 16 gig?
No, I had 8 gig. I did not have 16. I had no storage.
I had 8 gig
I had
too.
0 storage.
The first vlog I ever made was when I was in high school. There was a mission trip they took to Guatemala. I didn't go because I couldn't afford it. I started vlogging on my phone. You can see it in part 1 of my documentary. Speaking of documentaries,
Oh my god.
no, but seriously, you can actually go back and you can see in the documentary. I put footage that I shot on my iPhone. I had no space, so I had to keep like putting it on file on my laptop throughout the day because I could film like 3 videos at a time.
Yeah. It's crazy how like little. I had an Xbox 360 with 4 gigabytes of storage on it. I still do. 4 gigabytes of storage.
Wow.
That was enough for literally one game from 2006. That was it. How much was Borderlands 3? How many gigabytes?
I don't know, dude. Probably some. I know Red Dead Redemption was like fucking 100.
Yep, it's crazy. Like
Shit fucking game.
Terabytes.
Wait, what'd you say?
I did not like Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh,
yeah.
2. Okay,
We
Red
talked
Dead
about
Redemption 1
that.
though. 1 though.
I did not like 2.
1 is a classic.
Yeah.
1 is respected. I never played
They
2.
tried too hard with 2.
Do you remember when with GameCube it used to be blocks? Like that's your storage. It was blocks, and blocks. I forget how many megabytes it was.
I was never a GameCube kid. I was a Wii kid.
You were, weren't you?
No, it was PlayStation 2.
Oh my God!
I was
Really?
Oh, PS2.
Oh,
PS2.
I was.
PS1, PS2, yeah.
See, I like grew up with Nintendo, up to the Wii, to the point where my friend got me an Xbox after my Wii broke.
Okay.
The
GameCube started with blocks, and you could buy storage cards to put into the A or B slot on a GameCube.
Yeah.
I think it was like 300 blocks per card.
Okay.
It was, I forget what the ratio was.
PlayStation, same thing. There wasn't any internal memory, so you had to get memory cards.
Yep, memory card.
There
I
were
remember.
8 megabytes, and you
So-
never needed a new
okay.
one.
Yep, it was crazy.
You never
Okay.
needed a new one.
Nope. Like literally, I think we had 2 for my family of 4
Yeah.
brothers. It was crazy.
We had so many games on there, we never needed a new one, and it was 8 megabytes. What?
Games were tiny back then.
Phone apps aren't even that small, dude. I have some phone apps that are at least a gigabyte.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God! Now they make it for a GameCube.
Like Clash of Clans is like a couple gigabytes. Like a couple.
It's absurd.
A 64 megabyte card for a GameCube. You barely needed 2 megabytes for anything.
Well, this is
Yeah.
back in the days of like Super Mario, where the whole game, was 4 megabytes.
Yeah.
5 meg. Yeah, it's crazy.
But those games are still better than some of the games that come out today.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
games
absolutely.
today are
We were
fucking
talking about that
shit.
yesterday.
Yeah, we were.
Some games
McDonald's.
today are absolute shit.
Well, dude, like the problem is, it's before. I feel like in the '90s, it was looked at more like as an art in a way. You know, it was this new medium. Now it's definitely viewed as more like it's definitely viewed more as art because you can. It's beautiful now, but you can argue that Pac-Man is considered art way more than a game like The Last of Us or Red Dead Redemption 2 because that was innovative. Now it's like. I'll just do what the last guy fucking did. Like, it's easy to make it pretty now. The guy that made Pac-Man, that was, like, fucking ingenious.
Yeah, what he had to do.
It was like when we were talking about Madden yesterday.
Fuck, man.
Why do you
Oh
keep
my
buying
God,
the new
sport-
Madden?
That's why I have never bought a sports game, and I never will. I do not believe in sports games.
I believe like every 6,
Well, the
7,
thing is,
8
they
years,
don't even
it's
need to
worth an
release a new
upgrade.
game. You can just download a new roster offline. They
Well,
can
see,
just
that's the
update
new
it every
thing you can
season.
do.
Yeah,
But
it's been out long enough.
with Madden, I had Madden 06 up to the point where I had Madden 12. So that was
Yeah.
6 years of
Is
difference.
that PS3?
That's a big upgrade.
That'd be PS3.
But, you know, you update from 14 to 15 to 16 to 17 to 18 to 19. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
And it's $60 every time.
Yep.
It's
That's
the
that's
same
like,
state.
I had a friend who told me when I bought Battlefield 3, and then when I bought Battlefield 4, and then I didn't buy Battlefield 1, but I bought Battlefield 3, and as soon as Battlefield 4 came out, I bought it. He said, "Why'd you buy Battlefield 4 if you had Battlefield 3?" I was like, because he didn't play shooters, and I was like, it's a new game, like totally different. He said, it wasn't like back to the old, it was still like modern, but he's like, oh, it's just the same shooter. I was like, no, it's a new game, and he goes, whatever. I'm gonna go play Madden 18 after I finish Madden 16, 17. What are you talking about?
I feel like the Call of Duty.
It's recycled games.
Call of Duty is such a weird, unique love-hate relationship of Black Ops 2, one of the best games ever made.
Yeah.
Black Ops 3, very, you call it Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, one of the two best games, amazing.
But if you look at it, it's the same game every time.
But it's very similar.
There's only one, and some people call it a sport, some don't, that I view personally that is worth an upgrade every year would be NASCAR. Because there's different car designs. Like, if you're a freak about that, that's like the only argument that you can get away with. But when it comes to FIFA, we were talking about FIFA yesterday.
Oh, God.
I think I'm at FIFA 14 that my friend got me.
Yeah.
There's no reason to get FIFA 19.
Nah,
It's
dude.
the same
It's the same
game.
roster.
It's the same avatars, different names.
The
There's no
roster's
new
not changing.
teams.
No.
It's all the
Roster's not
same.
changing in a year.
The campaign is the only thing in like video games that can be different now.
Yeah.
Different storylines.
And honestly, and guess what? Games don't even make campaigns anymore.
oh,
What
really?
was it, like, no, the newest Call of Duty didn't have a campaign.
Oh shit.
No, they just don't do it. They put in a battle royale feature and get rid of the campaign.
Oh wow.
Yeah, campaigns aren't like people don't care about the campaigns anymore. Like no campaigns, they're DLCs now. Campaigns are DLCs now, unless it's a game like a Borderlands or Red Dead where it's supposed to be a solo RPG or things like that. But no, online games don't have campaigns anymore.
The only other game that of course could be worth an upgrade would be Smash Bros.
Oh,
That's
that's
when you and I talked about that.
Smash
It
Bros.
is.
It's a game. It's upgraded by console. It's not like it doesn't come out. It comes out with a console.
It's a fucking crime that they are selling individual characters in a game that has 70 fucking characters. That is a crime.
You can't play as all of them. You really can't.
Well, like, they sell characters individually. I wouldn't have much of a problem. They sold like 5 characters in a pack and you paid like $20 for that.
Yeah,
But you're paying like $10 for one fucking character in a roster of 70.
Wait, you can't earn them. You have to
Well,
buy
the
them?
DLC characters.
Oh, DLC. Got it.
Like, dude, who in the right mind would buy a DLC character for a game with 70 fucking characters?
I will not. I would not.
It's absurd.
Would you actually play as all 70 at some point?
No, I play as like 10.
And then you're done.
Yeah, fuck the rest, dude.
And then you're
Yeah.
playing the next Mario Kart. That's how it goes.
Yeah, literally growing up, I was Melee for the Wii, and with my brothers. That was that Brawl.
It was Brawl.
That was Brawl. Brawl was the Wii.
Brawl.
And
Brawl
basically,
was the shit.
we used the same characters.
Brawl was shit.
Basically, for all 4 of my brothers.
Melee is the shit.
Or 3 brothers. We had 2 characters.
My friend Jacob and I. Oh my god. I know Jacob's not listening.
Listen, Jacob. God damn it.
Melee's the shit. He got really good. I was okay, but he got really good.
Yeah.
I played Melee too because the Wii could play the GameCube disc, like the tiny
Do you know how
discs. So I
groundbreaking
played
that
those
was?
too.
You could play Melee on a Wii.
It was very cool.
Oh my
It was
god,
very
people
cool.
lost
I played
their
Melee.
shit
I
over
played the
that.
shit out of Melee on it. I played Brawl and Melee. Mostly Brawl. I'll admit mostly Brawl.
With the Wii U, I don't remember if you
Do not think you can.
Could do GameCube on Wii.
Do not think you can.
Wii U was a pile of dog shit.
Hey,
It is.
It was no.
It is.
When the Wii U came out, it was Christmas. Me and my brothers. I have 3 brothers. There was 4 of us, and we got Wii U and Nintendo Land, and that like Christmas was like the best Christmas of my fucking life.
Yeah,
Because we plugged it in, and it was just it was all multiplayer.
yeah.
It was just Nintendo. We played like Mario Chase and like Luigi's Mansion, all these games.
It's very good party games.
Very good party games. But then when the Switch came out with Breath of the Wild, and then things just like rocked the universe of Nintendo, the Wii U just got tossed to the wayside.
Yeah. Just the Switch is just so fucking good.
The Switch is amazing. I have a Switch, love it. Oh man, is that how long has it been, Scotty?
2 hours.
Does it really?
If I cut out the first 12 minutes, 2 hours.
Did we break the previous Ryan one?
Might as well.
How far away are we?
About 20 seconds.
Oh, hey, we did it then.
Dude, I'm full of topics.
Absolutely did.
Go all night.
Let's go 5 hours.
We cannot start another topic because we will go for another
It's
half
almost-
hour.
Listen, I can talk about almost anything except it'll get real controversial real quick.
But anyway, back to the whole Madden thing. When we were talking about upgrading every year. I don't get it's the same avatar players.
Yeah.
You got the fat ones, the skinny ones, all colors go. You can have a green guy now.
Yeah.
The stadiums are the same. The only change that could happen is when the Raiders play in Las Vegas now, like a new stadium.
And you
But
know
it's
they're
the-
going to capitalize
It's
on
the
that.
same football field.
Yeah, shit, dude. AB's wearing the Pats now. It's different.
It's the same
Yeah,
damn
players
field.
get traded. They're different.
Yeah, but you can update that now.
Yeah, you can.
No, you
It's
can't. You
completely-
got to buy a new game, $60.
I found out you could do it when Ray Rice.
Well, it's fucking EA. That's why, because EA's a bunch of cunts.
Fuck EA.
Yeah.
EA is a piece of garbage. They
That's
ruined.
a word that I do use
EA had a
pretty
chance
lightly,
to
actually.
become the game developer of the century with Battlefront 2, and they ruined it. EA is a piece of garbage.
Nah, they're a bunch of
God,
bloody,
when I do have a beer in my hand right now.
bunch of bloody cunts. That's what I say.
Oh my god. I just hate him because of Battlefront 2.
They fuck everything up that they touch.
Like, did you play Battlefront 2 on the PS2? When it came- You did? Best game of your life, right?
So good.
That was amazing. Did you?
I don't know if I ever touched a PS
It
in my
was
life.
amazing. Battlefront
I
2.
don't think I've ever touched
Battlefront
a PS.
2 for the PlayStation 2 was amazing. So when Battlefield 1 came out for the PlayStation 4, the new one, bought it right away. It's the first game they're
It was
trying to
just
make.
a reskin Battlefield.
Pretty much, but then when Battlefield 2, they're adding in, I thought they're going to add space battles and hero. I was like, yes, this will be it. And didn't even get it.
But EA is a piece of shit, so why would it be good?
Yeah, I don't think I ever touched a PlayStation in my life.
No, you're missing out. buddy.
I
It
have.
is fun. PlayStation.
Japanese tech.
I always
I'm
grew up.
bringing mine down soon-ish.
I always grew up on Nintendo.
That's also Japanese tech.
Yeah.
I got no complaints with them.
No, they're good.
You know what you're
They're
getting.
family friendly.
They're very good.
Yeah.
It started with a Game Boy, and from there I was always on Nintendo. Maybe because of Mario. Just maybe.
Mario's a very big draw.
It is. It really is.
Mario's amazing. My brother grew up loving Zelda. I grew up loving Mario. But he loved Mario too, though, to be fair. But yeah, we played because, again, that was like a multiplayer thing where you could do Mario, Toads, and Luigi. And we just beat, like, Mario. We got the Wii Mario, we got the Wii U Mario, and we got, oh my god, it was amazing.
No, Nintendo's definitely family friendly. It's just
I love Nintendo.
They're just,
Now with the Switch, that
yeah.
great move.
The Switch has absolutely revitalized Nintendo. They were losing the battle to Microsoft for like a while.
Well,
With,
I still
with
don't think
Xbox.
I still don't think they're in the race with PlayStation and Microsoft.
They're not. No, it's a different race. It's a different race.
Xbox has the Xbox One now. I don't know.
What the
Well,
next?
PlayStation has the
I don't know
PS4.
how they can
Yeah.
jump now. Xbox 2?
Oh, no.
I don't know what they can do now.
With the naming scheme, I don't fucking know.
No. What can they do with the next?
Oh, it's
Oh,
coming out
thing?
next year.
Yeah. They can just update the CPU, make the graphics better.
Come on,
Obviously,
next year.
keep
I know, but
your
is that
storage, 'cause it's
worth
terrible.
calling it Xbox 2
Yeah, absolutely.
1.5?
Absolutely.
whatever? It is?
The next gen console for I don't know how many years now has been Xbox One, PS4, and honestly, yeah, it's about time for the next gen.
2020. That's when it's supposed to come out.
2020. Yep.
PS5 at least, and then Xbox will be right there with them.
Basically, just because if one releases, the other one has to release because there's so much hype around the next gen.
Mm-hmm.
If one releases a year after or a year and a half after, they lose the battle.
Thomas, didn't you say you have a gaming PC back home?
Not a heavy one, but yeah.
I still my love.
And you're a console boy.
I fucking love the console.
Do you have a gaming PC though?
I have a laptop that functions as such.
Okay.
but it's nothing. Like it.
I mean, for me, it's like it's always been. I grew up with an X. I had the Xbox 360 before I had a PC, and so I was obviously way more console than PC. But now in recent years, PC, I like it. I like.
The fucking Dell.
Oh, a Dell.
Love
God,
Dells.
Garbage.
A Dell.
Dells are. I think I've always.
Fuck a Dell.
I think the first laptop I had was a Dell.
Actually, no. Dell is a very.
I still have my first
respect the
laptop.
Dell.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not. You know,
Yeah.
that's just an old one. My dad had a Dell for like 12 years. Actually, they're very reliable machines. Dells
Yeah.
are reliable machines.
My
I take back. Not. I'm sorry, Dell.
My favorite computer is a Dell with Windows 7. Windows 7 is by far my favorite
okay.
operating system that Windows has made.
Scott, you just said your favorite computer is a Dell with Windows 7. What does that mean?
Exactly what I just said.
Why do you
A Dell isn't a
Why do you prefer outdated shit?
But no, a Dell isn't a
Windows 7?
No, but that's no. That's
Various
not a,
reasons. Let
no,
me
that's not
explain
a-
with a
that's
chalkboard.
That's not a computer. Just saying a Dell. That's not a computer.
What, Dell?
Yeah.
All I'm hearing is a Dell, like the
Dell
snare.
products, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Dell products. Like which Dell product?
It was a Dell Inspiron.
I set
Okay.
fire to the rain.
Watch
your
it,
face, I touched your face. That's all I've been hearing this whole time. Everyone's just been saying Adele.
Ooh, is
and
that
I'm like,
copyright? Should we cut that out?
No, trust me, you guys weren't singing well enough for them to catch it.
Thank God. Oh my God. Dude, all right, I'm like running out of steam here, bro.
Alright, you can quit. It's just going to be me and Ryan
Hang
now.
on.
Now the boys
What
come out
happened
to play.
lifting, bro? It's 8 o'clock. We gotta get gains.
Gains o'clock isn't until 9 o'clock.
Gains a clock,
Oh my
motherfucker.
God,
Let's
yeah.
go. I actually, me and a couple of buddies DM'd Robert Frank, and he replied.
Who?
Robert Frank? I
Is
thought
that the name of your roommate?
No, okay, never mind. You guys said
No,
it's.
no,
you
no,
guys
say
said
it,
it's.
say it.
You guys said it's gains o'clock. A lot,
Who the
and that's
Yeah,
a
I'm gonna
phrase
say
that
because
this
he
one.
says it.
But this one Instagrammer he says all the time. He's like a weightlifting guy. He like goes on, does rants or whatever. He's like, it's gains o'clock, motherfucker. Let's go. And he's like, this is Jack, dude.
Well, he copies me then because I've been singing a lot.
You follow this guy on Instagram?
He's a funny guy.
I'm a funny guy too, but you don't subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Yeah, I am. I subscribed.
All right, Dan just tapped out. It's just you and me now.
Damn.
Well, I got
Also,
homework to
didn't
do.
tap out. I went to my phone.
All right, it's just you and me.
Wait.
The boys are
wait.
here.
You just called me Dan.
So
call
this
him
will be
Dan.
the extended part.
Are you not gonna like address that? You just called me Dan.
I gotta stop doing that.
Listen, man.
Well, it's because you two roomed. My bad. I'm sorry. Look at me. I'm sorry.
Thank you, buddy.
I'm shit. Okay.
Thank you. I know.
I got a library of shit I could pull out, but you know what, man? All that shit's,
Shit, let's do
all
it.
that shit's pretty controversial.
It's okay, but we're just talking about what like, comes to mind when
Why do
we
we gotta be
start.
controversial, bro?
That's just the kind of shit
It's
we're
okay.
into, man.
It's okay.
Like whenever the green room comes out, we're talking about all of it, man.
Oh my God.
It's gonna be a fucking war zone on there.
It's okay. Let's just keep going. I got no objections.
No objections? All right. Well, I'm just gonna say a word, and you tell me where you want to take it.
Bring it.
Abortion.
No. Okay. No.
You see, when I forget where it started, but when someone said it's a female's body and they have the choice to decide, I agree with that. But there's a big but here, big ass. I think that I might get.
Do we want to save this for another time?
I might get slapped in the face.
Yeah,
for this.
this is another
No.
time.
No.
I'll go 2.5 hours.
Holy shit.
Okay. It is a woman's choice. I definitely respect that. It definitely is because it is their body. The other half, though, also has a say. You don't hear that a whole
No,
lot.
you don't. Never.
No, you never do. No.
I think you should be able to hear that. If I won't say your girlfriends because that'd just be wrong. If I had a girlfriend, because I'm single as hell. If I had a girlfriend that I tricked into being friendly with me, and we had the early stages that a baby was going to show up, and she said, I don't want it, I'd be like, okay, and I respect that. But my religion says it's wrong to do that. I'm fine if we go through with having the baby and we put it up for adoption. Usually you don't get that second half of the argument.
No, you don't.
That's the problem I have. Yes, it is a woman's choice. Yes, majority of the vote is hers. But the guy should at least get a say in it. Unless he leaves, then it's completely
if
her
he leaves
decision.
his dickhead.
Well, that happens.
Yeah,
when
I know
that
it
happens, I'm more than fine with her making whatever
Yeah.
decision she wants because he left.
Mhm.
He tapped out. He's like, I'm fucking gone. I can't do a baby right now.
have two opinions. I have
Go
my
for it.
political answer, and I have my personal answer.
Go for it.
Personally, I could never. I just couldn't. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Okay, repeat
Like-
that.
So, my personal beliefs, I could never come to the decision to abort a child.
Good.
Never.
Neither could I.
That's my personal belief. My political belief, we need to scientifically and legally define what a life is and what death is.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this is tough.
Oh boy.
And
I thought it was Gaines the clock.
It's supposed to be, but should I say my opinion or
Go for it. If you're gonna say it, go for it.
mine's just
You
so,
can say it and leave. I don't
mine's
care.
so childish. It like hurts my heart to think that like a baby that could have had a life just doesn't get a chance. That just like hurts me to think about, man. That just like stings.
Yeah.
Think that baby didn't have a choice, didn't have an option, had no strength to defend itself, and it's gone.
Have you guys seen 13 Reasons Why?
No, I do not want to.
you recommended it. I have not gotten to it yet.
Yep.
I do. If you can get past the last episode of the first season, yes. No. The second to last episode, because that's the craziest episode I think I've ever seen. In the third season that
Of
just
anything?
came. In the whole series.
Oh, okay.
In my opinion. In this third season, a girl was pregnant. The guy that raped her left. She had the decision to make it that she wanted to keep the baby or get rid of it. She goes to the place where they do the abortions, and I never knew this was a way they do it. At a certain point, as the baby is about to start forming, they stick this little vacuum tube up the girl's thing, and it's like a vacuum, and they just suck the life out of this
Yeah.
thing.
First they break the bones in the baby too.
Well, there's no bones.
Well, we got to take.
Oh, before that
I've
stage.
I never knew that was a way that could go. I thought it was like the pill you take and that was it.
Oh, that's like before the fetus starts forming.
Yeah, that's like when it's still in like mitosis, like
The
cellular
pill or the
division.
vacuum thing?
The pill. The pill is like stopping cellular division of fertilization.
The morning after pill.
Morning after.
That
Well, even-
part I knew about.
Even after that, if you get it before it forms enough, you can take an abortion pill.
Yeah.
And it'll stop
I know
the
there's-
production of the child,
Yep.
and then it will, without being as crude as possible, pass normally.
I know there's
Yes.
stages where different pills can do different things.
Yeah.
Try and kill it off. It doesn't work. You try the next one. That doesn't work in the stronger doses. I know that one, but I never knew they'd take a vacuum and.
They have surgeons.
Yeah.
In New York-
I never knew that.
In New York, you can go up till the day it is born.
Or the day
Really?
after. Or it can be a live baby. It can be
Yes.
born. And literally the doctor is on record saying we'll keep the baby comfortable, the mother comfortable, and we'll talk over the options, and if she decides not to keep the baby, basically we'll kill the live baby.
You see, at that point,
Like
you
third-
gotta
like
go
third-
through.
That
like
is murder.
Third trimester.
At that point, you gotta go through with it.
That is murder. If the baby's fucking born, like if the baby is born, like is that even a question? Like I feel like this
it's
is not even a
really.
debate.
Well, again, we are, I think, similarly like-minded people in that respect.
Yeah.
Of no, it's not a question to me.
Yeah.
It's not a question.
Personally, I don't think it's a like, because with the bill that got passed in was it West Virginia or Virginia?
I don't remember.
The Heartbeat Act basically said once the baby, the baby has a heartbeat, it is considered a life. There are some very definite problems with that because the baby's heart develops in about 6 weeks, and a lot of the time women don't know that they're pregnant by that time. But I get where they're coming from, and I don't necessarily disagree because if you research the definition, the legal law of being dead, it is whenever the heart stops beating and the organs stop functioning. And it says nothing about the brain because you can be brain dead. That's a whole different thing. You're not considered dead yet.
Right.
Because if you're considered dead, your organs have to stop functioning. Well, that is a living creature with functioning organs, a heart beating. So that is when the definition of life blurs, is because it is a fetus. I think it's a starting point to start deciphering what life is, but it definitely needs to be reworked. But I feel like we need to. It's going to offend a lot of people. It's going to hurt a lot of people. But in order for us to actually come up with a plan, we have to have some rigid definitions.
And the thing is that the Heartbeat Act is obviously they're trying to find a solution to an impossible question.
Yeah.
What defines human life?
Yeah.
Can we even say that?
Yeah.
It's crazy to me to think we're trying to legalize or say what defines a human life. And so I still just stand with I'm like emotion based on this, and obviously my religion says it's not okay you have the baby, and my emotions, why I just like it hurts to think the baby's like you said get vacuumed, and these like it just hurts to think about.
Yeah.
It just hurts to think about.
personally, like, if I go out, I have sex, I'm going to take the responsibility that I may have a child. Regardless if we use all the contraceptives, everything goes well, we do everything, and still, somehow something slips by.
Mm-hmm.
And the girl I'm with gets pregnant. I took the risk anytime we do that because, the sole purpose of sex is reproduction.
Right.
And I know nowadays that's not, a popular opinion. Well, you had sex, you should take responsibility. But, you had sex.
Yeah.
And I know, there's clear cases of rape. Okay. Clearly you got raped. But that is such a low percentage rate that, the statistics are skewed, I'm sure, both ways. But realistically, the percentage rate of women that get abortions because of rape are very, very low. Almost an outlier low. Actually, I think it is an outlier low. To the point where, yeah, we have, rape kits and stuff. And it's a very touchy subject. I'm trying to say it's, the most respect possible. But, we have rape kits and stuff. We have everything we can help you with. But we cannot formulate the law around this subject based on an outlier.
They're both looking at me. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's tough.
It's tough. It's really tough.
It's tough to define the finer points of this.
Yep.
When is the fetus alive?
Yeah.
When is it a human life?
Yeah.
The most valuable thing in our world is the human life. It might but not seem like that, but it should be. The most valuable thing in our world is a human life.
Mm-hmm.
I think, the pill thing, it's early enough.
I think if you want to take
nothing has formed yet.
That I have to say I'm okay the morning after where it hasn't even fertilized yet or there it is not. I don't. It's not to say it's not
all
a baby.
The morning after pill is preventing is the fertilization of the egg. That's all it's doing.
Right. It's not killing any cells.
No,
It
it is
is maybe killing some cells. But
Nothing
it's
has happened yet.
No.
It is
Nothing
preventing
is being killed.
There is no heartbeat. There's no brain.
Technically, nothing's being
nothing's
killed.
Yes, if we're going to look at it like that, yeah.
Nothing that's... It's living, but
nothing that has a beating heart. Nothing that has organs.
It's not murder.
Yes.
Nothing that can even qualify for a human being. Right.
That's all I can say.
It's just tough.
It's...
I mean, the shit that's going on in New York City is, personally, to me, just straight up barbaric.
Yeah.
It's hard to even just think about.
No, it's straight up fucking barbaric.
Yeah, and doctors that, are more than happy to help people with this, when you're too late into the stages, that's terrible.
I heard this argument, and I don't necessarily disagree with it. People said if you make abortions illegal, then the rates of illegal abortions and back alley abortions, close hanger abortions will skyrocket, and then women will start dying again from unsafe abortions. And the argument was, if it becomes illegal, and you are that scared of having a baby that you are willing to go to some back alley doctor with no surgical equipment or do self-abortion, you are that scared of having a child that you would go to those measures, don't have sex.
Yeah.
If you are that terrified of having a baby, don't even take the risk.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's tough. It's just such a tough subject.
Yeah.
And for us to be able to talk about this with no one yelling at each other and agreeing with each other and understanding a tough subject doesn't happen out there.
You can't have a public discussion about this.
No,
Even in my
Well, you see, we're all guys.
True.
Yeah.
If there was a girl here, it could be different.
See, personally, I don't view it as it's what you do with the girl's body. I don't listen to that argument. I say that's not your body. That's a different person's body in there. That's how I view it. I understand you're carrying the body based on our evolution, but I'm sorry, that's a different living being in there. That's how I see it.
Yeah, but the argument's talking about the woman's body is going to nurture the early stage of this baby to the point where the baby's born.
It is such a sacrifice to be pregnant.
Yeah.
It is. It's miserable. Obviously, I don't know. I'm a man. I will never know. But just from what I have heard from, my mom saying, having, 4 sons, she went through it 4 times, she knows, it's unbelievable process.
It's a long 9 months.
Yeah.
It's a very long 9 months. For a woman, it is her body and it is her decision. And the only reason I really agree with that argument is because the baby, depending where it is when it's formed, it's very fair for the woman because she's the one that has to go through everything. And you have to remember, the baby could die along the way in pregnancy.
Yeah.
Right.
The chances of something to go wrong is very high.
Yeah.
So, at any given moment, I think it's fair if she decides I can't do it. Assuming, and I want to put this out there, assuming that there is no boyfriend, no husband, baby daddy, non-existent, he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
At any time for her, I think it's more than fair for her to make whatever decision she wants until the baby's born. And then go to New York and kill it. Like that, you can't do that. When you commit that far, there's no step back. There's no take backs.
Mm-hmm.
The baby's out, adoption, or you're caring for it. You can't kill the baby after it's out.
I get that. It's just personally, I can't see the fetus as anything else than a baby.
I agree with that.
That's what hurts me to even think about it. Yeah. It's a baby. It can develop into such a beautiful human being or a little dick. We don't know.
Yeah, could be a cunt.
It could be, but we don't know. And so for us, it's great. For us to say we have the right as people who just so happen to be born before that, we have the right to take its life away. It's just tough to say. Mm-hmm. Obviously, yeah, I understand. It's a touchy subject, and I can't speak to it to my full ability because I never have to. I'm a guy. I'm never gonna get pregnant. But I just know. I have a girlfriend, but I don't know. It's so hard to say, like, if that ever happened where we had to have the talk of what to do with a child. It is just, I don't know how I would stand.
We've had the talk.
You have?
I've been like...
We have not. We have never had the talk.
Like, if we're going to do this, I need to know if things go south and there's a kid, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm not doing this unless you're going to agree, like, you know. Because, like, I'm like, as I can't bring myself to abort the child, so if we're going to commence this activity,
right,
we have to agree on this. And she's like, yeah, I agree. I wouldn't want to kill a baby. I'm like, okay.
Well, you know, another thing that makes me agree with women having the choice, the major part of the choice, taking all the way back to Adam and Eve when they tried to hide from God and they made clothes out of leaves, and God said, I'm going to make women feel childbirth pain. The most painful thing God has ever made women have to go through now because of what they did. I have not experienced it. Millions of women have. It's coming from the man upstairs, the guy in control of everything. Depending on what you believe, of course, but right, it's coming from God. It's the most painful thing he has ever made a woman go through.
And if you ask women, they say it's the most painful thing in their lives.
Yeah,
no doubt.
You jump off a building, I'm sure, like, yeah, now have a baby. Seriously. That's why when you give birth to the baby, I'm sure that is the craziest moment of your life. Mm-hmm. No matter if you're watching it or it's happening to the woman. But since God's the one that said, I'm going to make you feel this, that's what leads me to believe the woman definitely has the major part of this choice, because she's the one that's going to go through that part most of all.
Unbearable pain of humanity, having a kid.
That's why I definitely think women deserve the option, the choice. It is their body, because God's about to make them go through this in 9 months if they go through with this plan. That's why I feel that way. Not as a rebuttal to you, but just...
No, I get it.
My game was weak, so I wanted to strengthen it.
I got you.
And plus, not a whole lot of people remember that part, too.
I 100% understand both sides of the argument. I get it.
That's a touchy subject, man. What else you got?
What's I got?
No.
Say one word. What do you got?
Come on, I'll go anywhere. This is so long.
I'll go anywhere, man.
Thank you. As he's thinking of a word, just a quick reminder, this podcast is sponsored by nobody.
No,
nobody, not a soul.
It's sponsored by the future podcast, The Green Room. If you want more...
Oh, you're sponsoring my podcast.
I think you give him like $10 right now.
I better get a free shout out.
Oh my God.
Oh, you'll be first. You'll be first on.
Oh yeah, thanks.
I mean, hey, you want more?
Stay tuned.
You want like controversial shit in like politics, man? We'll go anywhere. We'll take it anywhere.
Okay, what you got?
Fuck, what do I got?
Just say anything.
You know, I got a couple things on my mind, but I'm trying to see which one I want to say.
How was your day? Let's start there.
It was good. Just did a little bit of homework at class, talked to my girlfriend a bit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
When's she getting on a podcast? I'm a little mad at her. She didn't decide to get on
I'll
Sunday.
I'll try to get her up next week because she has some very interesting points of views on the Palestine-Israeli war because she is Palestinian.
Stay tuned.
Yes. So that'll be on whenever she comes on.
By the way, I'm getting ready to start charging people to show up for podcasts. Like, they're really like, no, I'm kidding.
I
Thomas.
live here, dude.
I'm charging you $10 every time.
Say get out or pay me $10.
Every time I bring on some guests, I'll charge like $5 at the door.
You know, Scotty, you're lucky. I'm letting her come on here first because not only is she Palestinian, she's Palestinian royalty.
Oh, is she?
Wait,
Yes.
what?
Oh, we ain't charging her then. She gets
They
it for
have
free.
royalty? What does that mean?
Really?
So she explains it better. She can explain it whenever she comes on. But basically, if you're familiar with like feudal, like England or whatever, they had the king in Palestine, and then they were like taking care of the different territories would be the nobles basically.
Mm-hmm.
But each noble was related to the main king, and one of those nobles was her grandfather. So she has a castle in Palestine.
Holy shit.
Yeah, but it is currently a museum because Palestine doesn't exist anymore because
Right.
Israel took it over.
Right.
But yeah, so she can't go back there, and she's also she's married into the Jordanian royalty. Like she's been to like the palace or whatever. Like
Okay.
the king of Jordan's like her distant uncle.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so she is royalty of 2 countries.
So I shouldn't just be like hanging out on my bed, which is I should.
No,
be, like,
you could be hanging out in your bed. You're good.
Oh man.
But I mean, she'll tell the story better.
Well, thanks for the added pressure. I mean,
No. Listen. You get. She's going on your show before mine, man. You have like exclusivity of this story.
which is still,
What is that?
I don't know. It's a weird sound.
What's going on?
I don't know.
Oh, weird.
See, this is the problem with the podcast. You don't want to do it, trust
No.
me. Worst decision you
Yeah.
ever make. I still find it crazy that you're giving me the access to do a podcast with her.
Yeah. I mean, she has a pretty crazy like experiences.
I know, and I'm surprised who did she want to come on, or did you tell her she should come on?
I told her about it, and I was like, I think you'd have a really cool story to tell. And she was like, okay, I'll think about it.
Oh, she was like very open to the idea.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's cool. Here's what we're gonna do. If we do the math, we have gone 2 hours and 35 minutes.
Okay.
Both of you get a minute to say whatever the hell you want. Then we're end this thing.
All right.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay, Ryan, go.
No, you go first. I gotta think.
You go first. I gotta think.
I gotta think, man.
All right.
All right.
Thomas, you have 1 minute in 8, 7, 6,
What do you mean?
5,
Say what I want.
4, 3, 2, 1. Say whatever you want.
Say just whatever I want about like opinion based. Just go.
This is part of your minute.
55 seconds.
Okay, well, my minute, I just believe. Man, this podcast, we talked a lot about opinions and how we feel and, you know, what's going on. And I think absolutely everyone is, of course, entitled to your own opinion. And you believe in your opinion. And you support your own opinion. But for me, personally, it's just when you think your opinion is better than someone else's. I don't think any of us here think our opinions are better than anyone else's. So just treat everyone equally. Respect everyone's opinions equally. And if you totally disagree, just walk away and don't listen to them. Just say you gotta go somewhere and don't listen to them anymore. But still respect them. That's my minute.
When do I get to start?
15 seconds, Thomas.
I'm done, man. That's what I wanted to say. Respect, you know,
10
everyone's entitled.
seconds, Thomas.
I'm good. I ended it happy.
All right. You have a minute, sir. Go for it.
All right. I mean, I don't know if any of you listened to the last one where I was on, but I feel like this one a little more emphasized what I'm gonna want to be doing on the Green Room. Once again, coming out probably like January 2020, something like that. I'll probably be on again since then. We'll do a little promo thing, maybe like an hour and a half if Scotty's cool with that. Then we'll do maybe part 1 on his channel, part 2 on my channel, something like that. I mean, this is probably the kind of shit I'll be talking about. Politics, some controversial shit. Maybe I'll have some people on, argue with them a bit. Maybe,
30 seconds.
beat them with statistics, something like that. I don't know. Get a little more. We didn't get into it a lot on this one. A little bit more in the last one. Maybe a little bit more of like existential shit, some like spirituality shit. A lot of like deep
15
meaning of
seconds.
life type stuff. But yeah, that's all going to be over on the Green Room. A couple of months, January 2020. It's coming. Scotty's going to be the first guest, and see you there.
And with my final 5 seconds, thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Ryan.
My pleasure.
We out.